Kansas City Chiefs do it again. The third kicker this season to have a walk-off field goal. And this one wins the game 19-17 and gives the Chiefs 9 consecutive AFC West championships. That is second in National Football League history for division dominance.
Mitch Holthus on the call, the game winner, and as he said, for the third time this year, a different kicker. 3 kickers, game winners, as time expires for the Chiefs to get them to 12-1 on the season. Welcome in on a Victory Monday in Kansas City. How's everybody doing? Gotta be feeling good.
I mean,
right?
I don't know how
good.
Look, I actually applaud the Chiefs for finding new and very creative ways in which to win heart attack football games, because that was a chip shot. At the end of the game, the heart attack part was the 3rd and 10, was the completion to Travis Kelce to make sure that no time was left on the clock for the Chargers. All the other normal stuff, and then the kick, little extra anxiety to go with it. But who cares? They won. They won again. They've won the division again. Like, it's the same story, broken record this season. For sure.
I know I can't just turn our mics on and say, well, they won again, and that's all that matters, and then turn our mics
See
off
you guys tomorrow
and talk to you guys next Monday. We can't do that. There's plenty of stuff, but that's what keeps happening. Ultimately, all that matters is they find ways to win football games. And the reason why it matters even more is something we'll get into here in about 12 minutes, which is now they're really in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed after what happened in the Bills game. And that's why it's like, yeah, that's great that Buffalo found a way to win by a bunch of points last Sunday night. But in a game that they also needed to win to keep pace for number 1 seed, potentially, they lost. Like, that's all that matters. Like, there's no style. There's no style points. Get the number 1 seed, and that's what it looks like the Chiefs are in better position to do. But yesterday, something happened again, not just in another weird win, but it was also a reminder that the one constant they have had, when they have to have plays, they make them. And that is the one part where anybody can say you got to have some luck along the way, sure. But the one
Can you make a play?
The one thing that they do better than anybody else in football for really the last 5 years, I would argue, but definitely this year, is when they have to have a crucial 3rd down, in this case, a 3rd and 10, even if it means Mahomes throwing a football like he's a shortstop and he's Bobby Witt Jr. trying to get it to Finney at first base. In this case, it's Xavier Worthy. Even if it's something like that, they'll convert. If Mahomes has to use his legs to run, the same comments that he made last week where he's like, I know when there's a specific running play when I got to go get it and when I need to protect my body. That was a run where he didn't care about his body. He needed to go get it, even if he got shoved out of bounds or whatever.
Sure.
That was a moment where the game was on the line. He made the play. I mean, he is now 26-26 in games where his team is trailing entering the 4th quarter. He's 500 when he's down.
Nobody else has a winning record,
What?
by the way. Everyone else, I think the next closest is like a 380 win percentage or 390 win percentage. So he's not just better in those situations. He is way better than any human alive. Look, I think the very simple way to look at this is there are, in my opinion, a handful of athletes all time that you would lump into Patrick Mahomes' category. They are Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 you want to put on the list. Yeah. Outside of that, fine. But the list is shorter than 10 people, and it is, like maybe 5, right? And Patrick Mahomes belongs on essentially the Mount Rushmore of the all-clutch gene, which means when push comes to shove and there's no other choice. Like, I even go back to, like, games in which they lost where you see it. Because that's when you see it, like, when he's trying to do anything to win. Like that Super Bowl against Tampa that they lost. When he's dotting a guy, laying horizontal on the ground between the eyes. In a game they can't win. Doing anything to try to do it. Last night, when you give him 5 minutes to go, you're losing. This is what I didn't understand about the end of the game. And you and I talked about a lot of this after the Bills game, where we applauded Sean McDermott. We're like, hey, you get it. You've been beaten by the Chiefs too many times to understand. On 3rd and 16, when the Chargers handed the ball off, conceding any chance of converting, even though they converted 2 times earlier in the game on distances that long, and just took the field goal, I sent a tweet out, and I said to my wife, I said, they lost. That's over. The Chargers have lost the game. They have conceded to the Chiefs through cowardice. And the second you give a window or some sort of like inkling of a possibility to Mahomes, you've lost. You've made your decision. You've lost to them already.
And in this case, yeah, it was a little over 4 minutes to go.
Yeah.
A little over 4 minutes to go. We have seen this time and time again, even with the struggles, even after the first two passes on that drive were incomplete. One was a quick pass to Pacheco that he couldn't get a hold of. Then they forced on a 3rd and 10. And there was 2 plays. Like these were the 2 plays I felt like that obviously not only extended the game, but it's why the Chiefs won the football game. This was the 3rd and 10 one, obviously, with Worthy.
Bringing 5 with late pressure. Mahomes gets away, jump pass, caught in the middle for the first down by Xavier Worthy.
And Worthy almost dropped that football, too, if you go back and watch the replay. And then, of course, reliable Travis Kelce stepping up on the 3rd and 7.
Chargers are nosing, Juju's in motion. It is Mahomes on the roll. Mahomes pumping, stops, throws, complete for Kelce in the first down. They've done it again. Mahomes to Kelce.
That's the kind of stuff that can happen when you give the Chiefs the kind of time the Chargers did, and obviously the margin that you were looking for. In fairness, I'll say, though, on the 3rd and 16 for the Chargers, now, look, you can try to draw a DPI maybe and hope that you get an automatic first down. The reason why I don't put so much of that on the Chargers, and I give the Chiefs credit on the 3rd to 16, how it got to 3rd and 16, which was guess who got a sack? Yeah. Turk Warden again after Charles Minhue initially, or maybe it was Charles Minhue, I'm sorry. Turk had 2 sacks in the game, though. He was really good last night. That's what forced that 3rd and 16. After an earlier sack on first down, the Chargers got, 20 yards on the very next play. I mean, so the Chargers, you could say, should have been more aggressive on 3rd and 16. But why was it 3rd and 16? That's what matters
for sure.
To
but
me,
I'm saying you still have to try. Maybe you do still kick the field goal and you still lose the game. Conceding is when you lose. And look, this goes to the same thing you had mentioned. The obvious thing that we can all see. The Chiefs make plays. Patrick Mahomes makes plays, man. He'll find a way to, like you said, shortstop, toss it to Xavier Worthy. That last play that he converted to Travis Kelce to get the first down, he said Travis made a play. He said Travis was supposed to run a completely different route. He was getting ready to just go run for the first down. And he's like, I saw Travis standing there where he's not even supposed to be. But a perfectly fine place to be. The other opposite end of this is the Chiefs always make the play, and every other team shoots themselves in the foot. And I think that is an important thing to mention when you're talking about the teams who make something happen and do the opposite. So when Dicker, I don't know what he was attempting to do, but when Dicker squibs that ball, misses the landing zone, and then the Chiefs start with the ball at the 40, well, now you're really cooked. Or when the Broncos have a field goal blocked, or when the other teams are making mistakes too, because in those crunch moments when all the pressure's on, they can't handle it. Mahomes can, and all the other teams crumble.
It's the cliche stuff. It's like the Chiefs are not going to beat themselves. You still have to win the football game. They're not going to let you. They're not going to hand you the game. We saw it with the Raiders game last week. Like the game was there for you to take, but you still got to take it, and the Raiders didn't take it. In this game, the game was potentially there for the Chargers. They did not take it. You're right about the exact kickoff sequence. I think that's the best description of recent history we have to describe the difference for those that will say it's all about luck. When Butker messed up on the kickoff, as you pointed out a couple weeks ago against the Broncos, and the Broncos got the ball to 40, they still made a play. Yes, it was a field goal block, but they still made a play. In this case, the Chargers messed up on the kickoff. Ultimately, their defense did not make the crucial 3rd down stop, or would have been a 4th down stop as well, that they had to make. They didn't. The Chiefs made the play. The Chargers, had to go and take it. They did not. The Chiefs went and took it, came back, and as we all know, kicked the game-winning field goal last night, Matthew Wright, who ended up making all 4 kicks, which were crucial for them. While they're on their 3rd kicker. They're on their 3rd kicker. They're on their 3rd left tackle, and the 3rd left tackle also got hurt in the game, so they had to go back to the starting tackle that nobody wanted to see. Sort of point out, everything that is transpired.
On their 3rd wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins is better than a traditional 3rd wide receiver, but they did lose Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown to start the year.
The number 2 corner, that's really the number 4 corner, got hurt in the game, so then they went to basically their number 5 corner, which doesn't even exist. That all happened last night. Yeah.
And they won. And they still won. I will say, we can all agree to one thing. I used to kind of mock other teams and be like, it must be so terrible to watch other football teams' football games that aren't entertaining. I'll say this. Chiefs are not fun to watch, man. This is not this is not a fun product. It is infuriating to watch them.
Oh, it's great.
They're so frustrating until 3 minutes are left in the game and the magic happens. Up until that point, you're like, you watch them so angry. You're like, what are you doing? I'm so mad at you all the time for just like messing around for
but
3.5 quarters.
Embrace the hate. This happens every single time in sports history when a team has a string of dominance. We've brought it up 100 times during this run, whether it was the Warriors doing what they did, whether it was the Yankees, way back when, whether it was the Cowboys in the 90s. I mean, the Patriots, of course, in the last 15 years, and now it's the Chiefs. And none of those teams people liked after a while. Ultimately, it's because they were kicking your ass and finding ways to win because they were simply better than you. You know why your team doesn't get a break at the end of the game? Because they don't have the key play to make. They don't have the player to make the key play down the stretch. Like, you might have a team that has a chance in their same game earlier in the year to make a play with their quarterback. Their quarterback just doesn't make the play. Everybody wants to call it, I was joking yesterday, somebody I'm sure today will have some take and try to claim the goalposts at Arrowhead were greased on purpose for Matthew Wright. Like, that's how nuts, we are. Like, the next thing that we're not far off. Pretty soon, the next big scandal people will try to make, other than first it was just, it was just the fun, lovable Chiefs. Then it's, the refs are out to get him. Then it's Taylor Swift, the NFL, they're conspiring. Then it's going to be cheating here pretty soon. Don't wait, that'll be coming. If the Chiefs 3P, that'll be the next thing that all of a sudden people
cheating
try to start. Exactly, they'll make it up. That's next. That's
some story.
Next in line, and there's definitely a line of when you're dominant in sports. There's three things that typically happen. It's first lovable, then hate, then the refs. It's rigged for you. And then it's your cheaters. And we haven't reached the cheater standpoint yet, but that's going to happen for those that are sick and tired of the Chiefs. They're going to have to deal with it for another, hopefully 5 to 10 years as well. But they're the most hated team in the NFL, and they just won their 9th straight AFC West title, which shouldn't get lost last night.
Yeah, look, I get it. I understand. I understand it would be easy to make the arguments for, why this team is incredibly flawed and they can't just keep getting away with this. I understand how easy. For instance, in their last 5 games, the Chiefs' point differential in their last 5 games, in which they are 4-1, I will point out. Point differential their last 5 games is 0. They haven't actually technically outscored their opponents over their last 5 games. They are a net 0 team in their last 5 games. They are 4-1. They have won their last 3 divisional games, 19-17, 19-17, and 16-14. I am not here to try to pretend like they're the prettiest belle at the ball. Okay? I'm not here to even I get
football
it.
Doesn't matter.
I get it. I get it. But the things I just don't think you can ignore. And I wouldn't ignore in this game because yesterday's game is essentially an encapsulation of the entire season. Yesterday's game kind of perfect. If I just said, "Hey, I need you to watch one Chiefs game and explain to me how the Chiefs have played this season and are 11-1." I'd be like, "That one's fine." Yesterday'd probably do it. Got up 13-0, couldn't score in the third quarter. Some team came back. Then there was a crunch time moment. Something weird happened at the end, and they won. I mean, that would pretty much boil it down. I don't think you want to just dismiss. I will never make it a negative that they have won 10 straight one-score games. That is a massive positive to me. That is a skill. Having the ability to do that is a skill. And Patrick Mahomes, I thought, played pretty well in that game yesterday. We can talk about some of the flaws defensively and others.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
That occurred in the game. But
15 one-score games, though, in a row. That's what they went out of their when they've had
this year and 15 in a row.
15 in a row. They continue to build on the NFL record. They don't pucker up in these clutch, high pressure moments. They are clutch, I should say. In these high pressure moments, they don't curl up in a ball and freak out, and the heart doesn't start racing 100 miles an hour, and they don't know what to do. They've been here 15 straight of them. They've won, in these one-score games. That's the difference.
That's a crazy number.
And on a 3rd and 10, it doesn't matter. Truly, do whatever it takes to convert a 3rd and 10, even if it's off your back foot or whatever. And again, you're looking like a shortstop playing baseball if you're Patrick Mahomes. That's stuff that it's not a one-off. We've seen that throughout his entire career. That's what he's capable of doing. Yeah, I'm sure it is frustrating for other fan bases to see. That's great. You're right. Yesterday's game, and I would say the entire football Sunday, was very indicative of where we're at with the Chiefs in this dynasty right now. So the Chiefs have to win 19-7. It takes Mahomes doing Mahomes things. It takes a kick hitting the inside of the upright or whatever as well. Meanwhile, the Bills lose. Their quarterback gets 6 touchdowns. And everybody's all like, but he's amazing. He had 6 touchdowns. They lost the freaking game. I don't give a damn. The Chiefs are going to be the number 1 seed. Deal with it. That's my reaction to it. So Josh Allen will be MVP this year. Good for him. But ultimately, Why is there not a narrative around that? They get 6 touchdowns from their quarterback and they still lost a game. I don't know. The Bills seem like they're in trouble, Cody. What about the Eagles? They barely beat the Panthers. They seem like they might be in trouble. What's wrong with the Eagles,
that
man?
Sounds familiar.
What's wrong? What is wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles? Huh.
So Josh Allen is obviously the second best quarterback in the league, and I think we all know that. I do not think you should get more credit for losing pretty than winning ugly. Winning is the name of the game. And the reason why yesterday it's so important is what you mentioned is the number 1 seed. The Chiefs are not statistically a lock or whatever to win the number 1 seed, but the swing in percentages of chances to be the number 1 seed, there were DVOA stats that as of before those games on Sunday actually had the Bills as the favorite to get the number 1 seed because of the remaining schedule for Kansas City versus the remaining schedule for the Bills, and the fact that the Bills had the tiebreaker against the Chiefs and only trailed them by 1 game in the division. Not anymore. That was a massive swing. And yeah, just like any other game, you could be like, well, are the Bills cooked? I would tell you, no. The answer to that is no, by the way. The Rams, when everything is right, can still put 50 on anybody. When Sean McVay and Matt Stafford and Nakua and Kupp are all just like, firing, anything can happen, and they can score as many points on anybody that they feel like, and that's what they did to the Bills yesterday. It's a one-off game, whatever. I don't think the Bills are a bad team because they lost to the Rams. But Josh Allen does not deserve more credit for losing but looking good doing it, because the other part is that, yeah, in the end, he did look good, and he kept his team in the game, which I give him credit for. He was also a part of why they were down 14-21, why he needed to come from behind when they weren't doing things good offensively until they had no choice but to eventually score. But the 1 seed, I mean, that took a huge boost.
Well, you have a little
huge boost.
You have a little wiggle room. You have a little wiggle room by beating the Chargers last night. And we talked about the stretch of games for the Bills and what they had remaining. They had the Rams. They still have the Lions on the road. And then they wrap up with the Patriots twice and the Jets once. And you didn't want to have to bank on something happening in the final 3 against those crappy divisional teams that they have in the AFC East. And so now they lose to the Rams on the front end. There's a very good chance they lose to the Lions. We all know the Lions.
I think 50-50 because I think both teams are really good.
Sure.
But
that's a game they absolutely can lose.
Game in Detroit or in Buffalo?
In Detroit. Ooh. Yeah, it's in Detroit. They have 2 road games. And
60-40
so
maybe.
Kansas City has some wiggle room. That's what's big. Is like I still don't think the Chiefs are running the rest of the way. They're running the table the rest of the way. I think they're going to drop a game. I don't know if it's going to be a surprise one in Cleveland. I don't know if it'll be on Christmas Day in Pittsburgh or wherever. I think the Chiefs are dropping another game. So that was what was so vital about the Bills dropping one. Well, now you're in a scenario where the Bills could drop 2 in a row. And then we're definitely talking about Week 18 not mattering if that actually happens. Right now, the Chiefs have to go 3-1 the rest of the way. 3-1 at least, and that would get you the number 1 seed. I don't know if it'll even take that because I do think the Bills will lose to the Lions, and then the Chiefs can drop 1 and
2-2, and
it doesn't
still
matter. Yeah, they're going to be the number 1 seed now, Cody, and the odds have shifted quite a bit on it. -450, 480 now for the Chiefs to be the 1 seed. It was -110 before the result, obviously with the Bills losing. So it was a massive swing for the number 1 seed. We know this team has publicly talked about having a Week 6 bye and how much they don't like that and how they're beat up and all this. Yep. It now looks like they're going to be in position to get that bye, be rested up, and here we go again in the playoffs. Like that's what it looks like they're setting themselves up for again.
It's not just some rest, too. I kind of want to point out the intricacies of the schedule here because we know why the 1 seed is important, right? Like we for the obvious reasons, right? 1, you get to play 1 less game, which is obviously massively beneficial and has statistically been massively beneficial to teams in the NFL. And then the second part, which is this team has played 18 playoff games since Patrick Mahomes became the starting quarterback. He's played a whole extra season in 6 seasons. So instead of playing 6 seasons like every other quarterback in the NFL, he's played 7 since being the starting quarterback. So the obvious. I don't think people realize just how much rest the Chiefs will get at the end of the season if this goes the way that it should. They will get 10 days in between their second to last game of the season and their last game of the season, which might not matter. And then an additional 14 days after that. So there's a pretty good chance that they're going to have 35 days in which they have to play 1 half game that doesn't count for the standings. Like, I mean, that's not just some rest. And look, I get it. Someone's going to make the rust argument or a million other things.
I don't think you want 3 weeks off.
Factor.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, you're talking. Well, that's why I think they'll actually play some against the Broncos. You'll have 35 days of rest and have to get a sweat on against the Broncos, like if you play your cards right, that's what you're staring down. That's a pretty tremendous setup for a team that could use some rest. Like you can't get more than that,
and then
because that 3-10 hurts you. But that's where you get all this back end rest against that game against the Broncos.
And then the obvious, which is, hey, everybody has to come to your building. I know they last year they proved they can go on the road in Baltimore and Buffalo and went on their way to a Super Bowl out in Vegas. So it's not just that, but that's still a massive. You don't have to go to Buffalo, considering what the weather is likely to be like again. That is
it's
massive.
Great in Kansas City, but
to be able to avoid. Yeah, but we just know. I mean, the advantage you get from playing a home game and not having to travel and things like that. So no, it's yesterday. You couldn't have asked for a better day if you're a Chiefs fan. You got the loss you needed from Buffalo, and the Chiefs yet again found a way to win a football game, and they're sitting at 12-1. They have more wins than they had last year, and yet you would think from some outside Kansas City, and I guess some in here, you would think that the Chiefs are just a terrible football team.
You know me. I not blindly, because I feel like I'm coming with a knowledge base. I bet the Chiefs over total every year because it hits every year. So last year I ended up only breaking even on it because I bet their over total
went down to 10.5.
and then I doubled down when it went to 10.5. So it was an even year. This year's another win for me in the Chiefs win total department. I didn't even have to work that hard for it. They've already got it by week 13. Can I mention? So you were at the game last night as a fan.
Yes.
I think it's important that you know something that happened last night in the broadcast that you would not have caught as a person who was at the game. Chris Collinsworth will not shut up about Jawan Taylor starting early.
Wait, you went back to that?
Dude, it was the whole game. Drew, back me up. It was the whole game. He's like, at this point, he is essentially doing, and Drew will at least appreciate this reference, Kendrick Lamar's Euphoria. I hate the way you talk, the way you walk. I hate the way you dress. Like, he might hate every part of Jawan Taylor's entire lifestyle. He can't let it go. I'm not kidding. He might have mentioned it 15 times in the broadcast, and he'd say things like, well, if you can get away with it, I guess just get away with it. And then on the offsides where Mahomes threw the pick because he knew Bosa was offsides, he's like, who's to say you started early? Sure, like Jawan got moving there a little bit. Not kidding. 15, 20 times in that game, he mentioned Jawan Taylor. So prepare yourself for about 15 false starts in that Browns game because Chris Collinsworth, once again, couldn't let it go.
He basically was like, he's jumping early, but if you can get away with it, then you can get away with it. Yeah.
We joked on Friday's show just in passing as like kind of a flippant comment about, hey, like, oh, that's right. Now that the Chiefs have DJ Humphries, I'm sure Collinsworth will focus back in on Taylor. We joked about that Friday, and you're telling me he actually did that. The one thing that I don't think it'll end up being like the repercussions that it was a couple years ago or last year, like it was for 5 straight weeks with the NFL refs. The NFL refs have already responded and shown how they're going to handle it. Like they're all well aware of it already. I'm not worried about like it happening again because of Collinsworth, but that is annoying that he's trying to bring it to the forefront. Whenever we already know, because we've done this for the last calendar year, every team has an offensive lineman that's trying to get a little bit of an edge. He just is the poster child for it because of Collinsworth a year ago. That brought it to everybody's attention.
Get a hobby or something is all I'm saying. Like, put something else on your mind. Yeah. It is like the only thing about the game he cares about.
Yeah, this next
He's
time
got no other breakdown of the game other than Jawan Taylor might start a half a second early.
Just sync the TV broadcast with 96.5 The Fan and listen to Mitch, and you'll be good to go. But no, I did not catch that because, I was at the game, and I did not. I know you guys texted me about it. I'm like, I thought you guys were joking about Collinsworth once again doing the exact same thing he did a year ago.
No, he was doing it. I mean, he couldn't let it go, man. He was talking in the first quarter, second, third, fourth, into the game. He's bringing it up in post. I mean, he was locked in.
Didn't stop.
Dude, it was, borderline, I'm a little bit like you're obsessed. This is stalker behavior at some point. Like, how much film are you breaking down on Taylor every week over these snaps? It's crazy.
When he was
Drew, I'm not exaggerating how many times he brought it up in the game. It was so
It's those Cincy guys, Cody. It's those Cincinnati guys, That's what it is.
It was it was the illegal formation, but he fixed that. But he's still getting a little head start here if you watch it closely. Oh, yeah. Yep,
but you do you know.
Times.
If they're going to let you get away with murder is pretty much what he's saying on the broadcast. You're like, my God, man.
People on the text line, 913-586-7965. Jay Southland, tow service text line saying it was nauseating. It was that bad, huh?
It was the whole game. Like, it was an unenjoyable broadcast almost because of that alone.
Really?
Like part of it is just like this, Gold. I get it. I get that you think he's starting early. We all get it. You have made your point, Chris. We all got it. You think Jawan Taylor starts early. We got it. But he just hammering that point over and
It was
over
interesting
and
that
over
they-
and over and over and
The
over.
play had nothing to do with
you.
Juwan Taylor, but they would show a replay of Juwan Taylor
Yes. It'd be like,
starting a little
Yeah,
bit.
like it's
starting a
happening.
little
Like
bit,
what he's
but-
pointing out is not wrong.
Correct.
It's just that hey, you did this whole thing a year ago, and also it's happening. The NFL has already acknowledged how they're going to officiate it. Every once in a while, he's going to get called for it. Otherwise, other tackles in the league are taking advantage of. Like this is. I thought we just already went through this. That's what it is, and why it doesn't make any sense.
And again,
All right.
everyone in the league does it, so I don't care.
Up next, though, you mentioned Juwan Taylor. Let's talk about the rest of the offensive line because I don't know if you're feeling any better about this offensive line after last night, even with DJ Humphries, plus maybe an injury for him. We'll get to that. And yes, a lot of you, I see your text. I see the text on the text line. A lot of you Columbia folks are very excited to talk about a basketball game. I already saw Carrington come running into the building earlier than ever. So we will address what was a complete ass kicking, especially in the first half in Columbia.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Hey investors, this is JD again with Crossroads Investment Lending. Still wanting to get in that fix and flip game? Don't have the money? Maybe you've always wanted to get yourself a rental property. We can help you get in the door. Call the fix and flip guys at Crossroads Investment Lending, 913-766-2900, or go to kclend.com. That's KCLEND.com. Get started in the fix and flip game. What are you waiting for? That's Crossroads Investment Lending, 913-766-2900 or kclend.com.
Are you going to start the new year dealing with the same old joint pain, losing sleep, not able to take walks or do what you love because your knees or hips hurt? Well, don't do it. Take action now to get the pain relief you deserve for 2025. Call QC Kinetics now and say goodbye to shoulder and back pain. QC Kinetics local medical professionals are waiting for you. Their advanced protocols in regenerative medicine have helped tens of thousands of people, and I'm talking about lasting relief. Imagine a new year without those achy joints, no more pain pills, no more steroid shots. QC Kinetics uses the healing properties of your own body to attack the root cause of your pain, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. This is the future of medicine. So set up your appointment today with QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, 816-412-6299.
The holidays are happening at Diamonds Direct. Still rushing to finish your holiday shopping? Don't worry, we've got you covered. This weekend only, it's our last chance sale with 20% off virtually everything. Earrings, bracelets, pendants, and more. Plus special financing options up to 5 years. But don't wait, this is your final opportunity to find the perfect gift at the best value before the holidays. Plus special designer appearances. Visit us during extended holiday hours or shop online and pick up in store. Our 20% off last chance sale ends Sunday. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 421
42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line. Plus, 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double-G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us. Plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that jingle.
With 24 monthly bill credits, 4 eligible trade-ins, and 4 new lines with autopay. Well-qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99 credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Hey guys, it's Jim Costa from Cash the Ticket. If you're planning on betting college football bowl games, good luck. No, seriously, it's never been harder. And you don't want to be hurting your bankroll. You want to make sure you're doing your homework. Listen to Cash the Ticket. Mike Valeni and I will be breaking down every single bowl game, dropping new episodes nearly every day throughout college football's postseason. Spicing things up with a 12-team playoff. Can't wait to see some of those teams from the South come up north for the snow. Be sure to subscribe to Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Just getting started here on a Monday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we'll get to the border war that happened yesterday in Columbia.
I did think you were supposed to wear some Missouri gear. Is that still on the table? We think Carrington brought some? He was here early.
We made a bet. The loser had to wear the opposing team's gear. I don't own MU stuff, so he has to bring it in whenever he wants to bring it.
You don't just randomly own MU gear?
I'm supposed to wear it during the show. As you guys know, we video stream the show. So for those of you Missouri Tiger fans that want to see me wearing MU gear, you can enjoy that moment. At some point today, if Carrington brings in Missouri clothing, I have no idea what he's brought in for me to wear. I'm a little terrified of what it could actually be. I've obviously never had Missouri gear on. It's probably going to feel disgusting and gross. But yeah, we'll talk about that game, which was an unbelievably pathetic first half and really all-around performance from Kansas. But Missouri, that's a huge game for their future bubble, if they're on the bubble and things like that. We'll get to that, I promise, here in just a second. And you guys, I know, on the text line are already enjoying my Hawks losing, and that's fun. We'll get to that.
And that's the good news about it. It's like if you're a Kansas fan, they get to commiserate with you.
That's right.
And if you're a Missouri fan, it's first time you get a dunk on a Kansas fan in basketball in 10 years, unless you're just like making fun of them for losing in the tournament, which I don't think you're allowed to do if your team's not in the tournament, but we can get back to that later.
So we'll talk some KUMU in just a second, but we mentioned Juwan Taylor and how the broadcast, you said, was focusing in on him. Let's talk about the O-line again, because we all know the intrigue for last night was, okay, DJ Humphries, new left tackle. Let's see what happens. And I thought on the first drive, I was like, oh, you know what's a positive? When he got beat, he actually recovered. Whereas
Not
Wanye,
that he didn't get beat.
When Wanye couldn't.
Yeah,
that was the first drive. And then as it went further and further into the game, there were way more moments like, we can hope it's rust. We can hope it's rust. Otherwise, like, slight improvement, but let's see. And then he ultimately gets hurt. He gets knocked out of the game with what they're calling a hamstring injury. We have no idea about the severity. All I know is from my vantage point, I don't know if they showed it on the broadcast. You guys can tell me. He threw his helmet down on the bench once he went to the side. And never went to the blue medical tent. He was just taking off his tape and threw his helmet down, and obviously was frustrated his first game back. Hopefully it's a minor hamstring injury. And then Wanye comes back in the game, and he actually held his own for the final drive. And they didn't move Tooney to left tackle. They went ahead and brought in Wanye Morris. The O-line, I feel kind of about the same. There's still the optimism that, okay, DJ Humphries maybe is rusty, but I feel about the same. Like, I don't feel like way better about the O-line.
I feel not worse.
Yeah.
Because at worst, it's still just as bad as it was with Wanye Morris or Kingsley Suamataia or whatever. But it's still their single biggest problem. Let's not kid ourselves.
Sure.
He's been sacked 24 times in the last 7 games. He's getting sacked 3 times a game over the last, more actually. And look, he got sacked 3 times early, and then he was never sacked again, mostly because I think he prevented himself from being sacked. Not that the offensive line played great. There was one encouraging thing I would say, and that is that Andy Reid had said something post-game in Humphreys that I actually think was true. I thought in the first half of the game, Andy Reid straight up said the game was too fast. He's like, the game was too fast for him. He hadn't played in a year. You're playing high-level, late December, everyone comfortable football against a decent pass rush team in the Chargers. The number 1, by the way, scoring defense in the NFL. I had someone try to tell me, like, oh, wow, you got 1 touchdown against a pathetic defense in the Chargers. Pathetic. They're the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. That didn't happen by accident, by the way. And so, considering that, I thought Humphreys did play better as the game goes on. But the fact that he's already getting hurt, dude, I mean, that was the big downside. The one thing, I thought he played better as the game went on, but the offensive line is still the single biggest flaw in this team. And honestly, at this point, I'm maybe one more game away. I'll give Humphrey some time to get comfortable or to prove that he can come back healthy. But if he misses a couple of games or he misses a game and then he looks like this again in the next one, I'll be kind of done predicting the future improvement from the offensive line and start telling you that they're going to have to win in spite of that. That they're going to have to know that that's their fatal flaw and find a way to win like they have a majority of this year, even though it's a bad problem.
We'll have to see on the injury front. I think that's the big part of this for Humphreys in particular. Is it a minor little hamstring thing, or is it more serious? And he's going to miss the Cleveland game, and then they get him ready to go for the Houston game the following Saturday or something like that, and then you're back to Wanye starting, who is not 100% healthy in his own right. So then you've actually got 2 banged-up tackles, or do they do what we thought was option 2 heading into the game? If they know that, hey, this is actually what it is, and even our backup plan isn't going to work, then we have to go to our emergency plan, which is Joe Thuney at left tackle. That's what we'll find out as this week goes on. To see, a lot of it's going to depend on Humphrey's health and his status. Andy, by the way, will speak at noon right here exclusively on 96.5 The Fan.
Noonish.
Noonish, yes. And by the way,
that is a loose-ish lately.
We'll do this today, and don't text in yet. We won't count them, so don't text in yet. But around the Chiefs Red Half Hour, we'll start calling for your text on this very thing, which will be, you can text in what time you think Andy Reid will actually be at the podium today for his press conference. He was 50 minutes late last Monday. So we're going to at least have some fun.
15,
if we're going to be,
not 15, right? 5-0?
5-0. So if we're going to be waiting around for a bit, we might as well have some fun and give you a chance to win a pizza from some our friends over at the other place. So don't text in now, but around 11:30 we'll call for it. We'll compile them. And if you have the same time as somebody else and it's closest to the time we actually go to the presser, then we'll obviously random pick somebody. But just a heads up, be ready for that. Maybe you think he's on time today. Maybe you think it's 12:24.
He's about 30 minutes late the week before that.
Yeah, so we'll have some
and
fun
about
with
20
that.
the week before that. So it's actually progressively getting worse.
Yeah,
you might actually want to predict 1:15. I don't want to tell you what time to predict,
right.
but earlier might not be the play.
Yeah, so we'll have some fun with that. But yeah, I mean, they allowed the second most pressures he allowed, talking about DJ Humphreys, the second most pressures this season
for an offensive line
at a tackle spot. So that was pretty telling. Now, if you're trying to evaluate the situation more, you say, okay, it's his first game in 11 and a half months. He was going up against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. It's a hell of a first go. Problem is, next go, if you're healthy, it's Myles Garrett. And so there's no question about the test of talent he's going to go up against. I just hope he's able to play, because if not, it's what you said, which is, okay, well, then you're back to Wanye or Joe Thuney's playing left tackle, and you're waiting another week or two for Humphreys. So hopefully it's something that makes him available, though, on Sunday.
I mean, it's going to be the single biggest point of emphasis in the offseason. I think we know that. Yeah. That's not surprising. But it's we are going to have to, stop saying the ifs and buts, kind of like the people who are like, but the Chiefs could have lost.
Right.
At some point, their offensive line play is just their offensive line play. And I'll be honest.
But I want to give Humphreys more than one game.
Agreed. The only problem is that timeline gets truncated if he can't get on the field.
Absolutely.
If this, because as a reminder, this is the beginning of a 3-11 game stretch. So if he can't get back for the Browns, then he only has 6 days to get back for the Texans. And if he can't get back by the Texans, he's going to have 4 days to get back for the Steelers. And we don't know. He might not miss any time at all. Andy Reid did not talk about Humphrey's injury after the game at all. So I don't have an updated timeline for you based on that. But I think you have to really take consideration at this point. The offensive line is still a problem.
Sure.
It was not good again yesterday. He got hit so much in that game, including on the final drive that he eventually went and won it. Like, now, as bad as they are, I will say that they didn't lose the game.
Oh, boy. Look who just decided.
Bad news for you,
Look
Gold.
who just decided to come in studio. Oh, my goodness.
Drew, are you playing the Missouri fight song?
He's a Missouri guy. Drew was very happy. I
thought he was a K-State guy. I thought he adopted K-State.
Drew was very happy about KU losing as well. Don't let him fool you. He almost had a trifecta. Drew was about to have the best weekend he's had since he's been in Kansas City. If the Chiefs would have lost, Drew would have had a parade this morning himself.
Nobody who's not a KU alum likes KU.
Yeah, but you had a choice to pick all three schools, and you picked K-State.
That's true. It'd be like hating Duke.
But anyway, Carrington is in studio. He's waving what looks like a terrible towel from a Pittsburgh Steelers game.
It does, doesn't it?
What's it say on it?
I don't know. I'm not sure what it says. Hello, Carrington.
Is the
Good to
towel
see
for you,
buddy.
too?
I don't
It
know.
says beat KU and then has the date. I mean, they did beat KU. The towel's actually technically accurate.
They did.
This is
They
tough.
did.
If you want to see this, by the way, we
did.
live stream the show, so you can see Carrington wave his flag on
What's this thing
YouTube, Twitter,
say?
Twitch, the Fan 965, Facebook, wherever.
Hold on. Wait. That's got this most recent date. They literally. Okay, so that was.
So
handed
they
out before-
made the towel before knowing they were going to beat Kansas.
So be honest. What would you have done with that towel if they would have lost?
That's in the trash.
I never thought they were going to lose. You're the one that thought they were going to lose.
So we made a bet on Friday. Actually, it was solidified on Saturday because we knew the line and everything. But do you have some clothing for me to wear?
Oh, a jacket. That's
All right,
nice.
hold on, let me take my headphones
Is that
off.
the
and-
jacket that's a little small on you?
Yeah,
Al's
this
going to
is
look like a toddler
Yeah, this
in
thing
that
is going to
thing.
be tiny here. Let's see. Oh,
It's like at your belly button, dude.
It's a crop top.
It's a crop top.
I just feel gross wearing
Oh,
this.
no.
wow.
You got to button it a little so it can say Missouri, at least for a second, you know?
Oh, my
You got to put all the
goodness.
letters together.
This is gross.
Gold, have you ever worn anything that says Missouri on it?
Are you kidding me?
Not even
No.
just like you didn't lose a
think-
different bet?
You think I ever wore Missouri stuff? No chance. No, the only time I've ever wore black and gold was my junior high colors were black and gold. That's it. Oh, jeez.
You know, my middle school
that's gotta
colors
make
are
you-
black and gold, too.
That's
Look
got to
at
make
us.
you sick, Gold. That's got to make you
Vikings.
sick.
This is gross.
Oh, man.
Second half of the show.
Oh, he might have a wardrobe change. So later in the show, he'd like you to wear that. That looks like a nice hoodie, though. That looks comfy. He likes to care of you in that way. He's like skipping out of the
This
studio.
thing
He's
is
so happy.
small. How do you even wear this, Carrington? This is a small jacket, man.
I've said that before.
Man.
He hates it, dude. He hates it so much.
Yeah.
In fairness, Gold, did you or did you not practically laugh in Carrington's
Yes.
face when he suggested the possibility that Missouri was just going to win?
Yes.
He laughed at them even covering the spread.
Yep. MU got their first win since 2012 against the Hawks.
Man, 12 years?
12
I mean,
now-
there was some time off.
Sure. I will say this though, if we're talking about the game, even though this is going to be terrible throughout the entire show to wear this, and it's now on
not gonna
video.
feel
It's on
right.
video too. This is
So
not
now
good. The
everyone has evidence that you
screenshots.
wore it.
It's gross. I don't even want to look at sometimes I'll pull up the video stream to look to see
Not
what
today.
no, I don't even want to see what it looks like. I don't. And I got this towel over my shoulder. Ugh, it's disgusting. But that win from Missouri definitely means next year at T-Mobile Center is going to be amazing. Because I said on Friday, I was like, I don't think that there's any buzz around this game. And by the way, Kansas played like there was no buzz around the game because they came out flat. They looked like bleep. Bill Self did not have them ready to play. He admitted that after the game as well. It was an ass kicking in the first half. I know Kansas got it down to 2 in the second half, and I know Carrington may not want to admit it. He was puckering up late in the second half. I can promise you that. But Kansas did not deserve to win that game. That was all around a great win for Missouri, and it adds for next year when they play neutral site at T-Mobile. Oh, it's going to be epic because Missouri finally won one of these games for the first time since 2012.
So the biggest takeaway for me before we talk about the actual game stuff is I love that it adds a little juice. We talked about on Friday, and part of your stance was like that MU hadn't added anything to this rivalry in a while, right?
Yeah.
Hadn't beaten them in 12 years. They'd taken a few years off. It was going to cause a problem from it's hard to get hyped up for a matchup if you're not on the other side. Bill's going to be out for murder next year at T-Mobile, and he's going to want to avenge what was an incredibly ugly loss to Missouri, a currently unranked team. Look, maybe they'll get ranked because they just beat a top 10 team in the country. Maybe Missouri will fall to maybe 10th today or something in the AP, 11th or something in the AP
Kansas
for
probably
losing
falls,
twice. Yeah, Kansas for losing each of the last 2 games. But I mean, in the Bill Self era, in which half of that time Missouri and KU didn't play each other because Missouri left the conference, this is the biggest beatdown Missouri given them. And I know it got to 2. So it was almost an all-time epic Missouri collapse. They ended up winning by 10.
They won
and they
by
got
9.
up 24. But like Kansas's problem is, can they play defense?
Wow.
Do they trust, because their bench is deeper than last year, but they don't treat it like that, and then they just bench guys who are turnover liabilities for long stretches of game? They looked lost.
They're waiting on some of the guys they got in the portal to show up.
I was going to say, exactly, Drew. I mean, they went out to the portal. They got some guys that were supposed to be able to shoot the ball.
AJ Storr and some others.
Shoot some
My guy,
threes.
AJ Storr.
They still can't shoot the 3 is the same story. And then Hunter Dickinson, we know he struggles to defend. That's why he's not in the NBA. Let's be real. The reason why Hunter Dickinson is back is because he cannot defend whatsoever. He's a liability, but you hope that the offense makes up for it. And he just hadn't played well. I mean, the last game against Creighton, he only took 4 shots. This game, he obviously took more than I think he finished with 19 points, but he had some bad decisions offensively.
And he's tough on defense.
This was
They're picking on him.
You thought Wednesday was bad against Creighton. We're like, oh man, Kansas got their ass kicked against Creighton. This was a million times worse. That was one of the worst. And I'm trying to not get too recency bias, but I think it's a top 2 or 3 worst first half performance in the Bill Self era. So. Easily.
I have to rank them out, but it's up there. Houston last year, I think Rob pointed out, was they were really bad. They were down 30 at half in that game.
They clearly have their flaws again, but also it still is December 9th. And so on the Kansas side, nobody should be panicking. My guess is they'll still be a top 2 seed when it's all said and done. For Missouri, what's big about this is their non-con was weak. Not anymore. Now they have this. If they're on the bubble, here you go. You got to win against the number 1 team in the country. This is a massive win for Dennis Gates in that program, considering
that's a young team, too.
Yeah, and look, their only loss is to Memphis, who beat UConn already, but they hadn't really played anybody in non-con. Now they, of course, have. They get the win, and then they'll have the strength of schedule through the SEC play. We'll see. I'm guessing this year, spoiler, they'll get their first conference win in 2 years this go-around.
My God, that's what they didn't win a conference game last year.
They didn't.
They didn't win a single game in the SEC last year. Forgot about that.
There is another salty KU fan on the text line. Poverty School. Congrats on your December basketball.
I mean, I do think you can do, as a Kansas fan, it is pretty hard, in the history of this rivalry and the school's histories, it's pretty easy to play the Chiefs card essentially to how you do in the Bills fan, kudos to winning your Super Bowl. We'll see you in the NCAA tournament if you're there. Because Kansas can play we'll be in the NCAA tournament. We know that as a fact.
Yeah.
Missouri, because the only year Kansas didn't make it, technically their streak is not active in consecutive ones, as in as long as it has been, because they had the one vacated for I don't know, somebody having a Cadillac or whatever the hell it was. I don't remember the penalty now. It was all the stuff that's legal now, essentially through NIL, so I care even less. But it's easy to play that card if you're Kansas, but it shouldn't discount this is the single best start. Dennis Gates was on the hot seat. You could make an argument that Dennis Gates should have been fearful of losing his job. This is the single best win he's had at Missouri. They played their single best half probably since he's been the head coach at Missouri. Thank God they built a 24-point lead because it almost went away. But you get credit for the win. This is a huge win for Dennis Gates in Missouri in his time.
It is. And again, we talked about with Kansas and the flaws that they have. They got exposed this week, and in particular, the shooting and not having shooters is coming up again, and we'll see what happens through conference play. But that was the environment. If you just want to talk about who had their team ready to roll out of the gate, it wasn't even close. I mean, it was not even close. The Missouri Tigers, and yes, aided by their crowd and all that, who cares? They were ready to play the basketball. Kansas was sleepwalking, man. They looked like
they looked bad.
They played like what I said on Friday, which was, I don't feel like this is that big of a game, actually. That's how they played.
Yeah, they felt like they felt that way.
Yeah, and they got their ass kicked because of it.
But that's the thing. So, what you need actually for the rivalry, though, is younger fans who don't remember the rivalry to care. Now, if you're a young Kansas fan, you're at the school and you're 20 years old, and MUKU was not even a thing when you were growing up, right? But you're at Kansas, and now Missouri beat you? Oh, a little juice now.
Now I want to go to the game
team on the other side of the state. Flexing on them a little. Little juice for the younger crowd.
For sure.
It's easy for you. It's easy for me or Carrington or people who grew up when that rivalry meant something for a very long time. They needed some life. This injects some life back into it. I love that.
It does. No, I would have had very little interest to go to a December game next year at T-Mobile Center. Now I want to go.
Someone said it was a Dodge Charger, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Billy Preston's car was a Dodge Charger. That's it? Dude, we got kids getting Lambos now. Yeah. He got lit up for a Dodge Charger?
They don't even make those anymore, I don't think, or the Challengers. It's one of the two. They don't even make those anymore.
I'm missing out, man.
To your point about the bench, Cody, real quick. AJ Storr took 7 of the 10 shots, 1 of 7.
I couldn't believe
They're
how
waiting
little
for Wisconsin
Zeke Mayo
AJ Storr to
played.
show up.
I couldn't believe how little Zeke Mayo played. He's their best scorer. He's their best scorer. He just didn't like. And I
He
get
only
it.
took 6 shots.
And here's the truth. Part of the reason I
Yesterday.
think he didn't score is because when he was off the floor, they went on that 15-0 run. And then you kind of make a hard argument for like, well, this lineup's kind of work. And they got it down to 2 without him really playing. So it's like, are we really supposed to do it? Felt like in that last moment, they just like needed a little bit more scoring. When that thing got down to 2, you just needed like a shooter. You just need someone to shoot.
Yeah, we're back to talking about the 3-point shooting being a struggle again, despite that's what I thought they fixed in the portal. So we'll see. Now the non-con pretty much is over for Kansas, right? We're basically conference play is right around the corner. And then for Missouri and the SEC, I mean, now you got to think that Missouri should be competitive.
Their
I mean,
expectation this year to be to make the tournament.
I know it's one game, but when you win a game like that
SEC 's
against that
really-
competition, a Kansas team that already beat UNC and Duke and Michigan State, yeah, you would think Missouri's got a chance to finish in the top 7, top 6 SEC.
They're
Can
new.
they do that?
SEC is the best conference in college basketball
they
right now.
do
They're
that,
very good.
If they do that, they're obviously in the NCAA
100%.
tournament. We'll see. But if we're sitting here mid-March, heading into Selection Sunday, and Missouri, let's just say they are a bubble team, and they're at like 17 or 18 wins. I don't know if they will be. Let's say they are. This is the win that gets them in, probably.
You're still not worried about KU basketball until February?
I mean, they've beaten
now?
3 of the top teams in the country.
Worried? No. Are they flawed? Like, if we want,
No, they're flawed.
If we're talking about like, can they win a title stuff? Right now, it's very hard to see that. But do I think they're like now going to be like a 5 seed? No, they're going to be a top 2 seed still, and
they'll have
and
a
all
chance.
that. And unfortunately, they've decided to lay an egg and lose for the first time since 2012 to Kansas. And because of that, I'm wearing this disgusting jacket.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we can stop talking about the game for a minute. You can't take the clothes off, I don't think. You're forced to wear the Missouri
He's
stuff.
got some other hoodie
rest
I'm
of the show.
supposed to wear.
It's a wardrobe change
Can I get
halfway
this
through the show.
jacket in KU? Because I kind of like the
Can
jacket
you get that in mitten
itself.
sizes?
Nice.
I just, yeah, this is, I feel like, how does Carrington wear this? This thing
I don't
is
know, man.
small.
I made fun of him for that jacket
This
before.
is very small.
That means his legs are longer.
The
and
only,
his torso
the only
is smaller
slight,
than.
the
No,
only,
it looks too small on him.
yeah, the only slight benefit of the bet going this way instead of me, I don't know if I would have ever got my KU hoodie back because I lended Carrington a Joe Burrow, smoking on that Joe Burrow Chiefs shirt back in September.
Did he bring it today?
I still have not gotten it back.
Okay, I just let you know.
Hold on to this until.
yeah.
But I don't want this.
That's collateral, dude.
I don't. Drew can hold on to it.
It's
He's a Missouri,
hostage.
Drew basically just admitted he's a Missouri guy.
Hold on,
Roll
no,
back
no,
the
hey,
clock
no.
on the tape 5 minutes ago.
no,
He
no.
basically said nobody wants to root for Kansas that's not a Kansas grad.
Correct.
But you came here having no allegiance, and you've chosen K-State. Then they lost a few games, and then you went back to Missouri. You're a lost soul right now. You have no Cincinnati things going well.
Do I have to carry the Kansas State torch for this show now for a little while?
No, hang on.
Unfortunately,
so.
I've said a lot of negative things about Felix and
You have.
Hang on.
K-State
So I
fans
gotta-
don't like you.
I know.
on, I
Can we make amends? I'll take him to
still be a
K-State.
K-State fan and say what I said about KU.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. You
In
can still.
fairness.
That's true. Those things are kind of
I think it's
universally
because
applied.
I decided to play the fight song for Missouri. That it was like
That's just
over the
leaning
top,
in. You're
man.
helping Carrington out. Is he just
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
you now?
Yeah, it's Dusty
He's
over
pointing
there.
at him and laughing.
Dusty's like, "What are you doing?" Because Dusty's a KU guy.
Oh,
Dusty's a
okay.
KU guy.
So he's got to see you rock this Missouri gear. I do like the satin jacket, though. It's
They
a
have
good
that
look.
for
I've
KU
been tempted
too,
by one of
yeah.
those for the Royals, too. I kind of like that look.
Our
Think
friends
Charlie
over at
Hustle
Charlie
makes them?
Hustle has KU varsity jackets.
Dusty's not happy with you, Cody. He said you stole his tweet.
I didn't see your tweet, Dusty.
Who stole your tweet?
He's claiming I didn't see your tweet, Dusty.
We can't hear you. You're in the backdrop.
He's claiming I stole his tweet. I didn't see his tweet.
You stole his tweet?
Do you think I see every tweet every other person sends out?
He's so mad at you, he's not even going to come and explain it.
I didn't see it. There doesn't need to be an explanation.
Apparently, you said
Wow.
almost the exact same thing that he said.
I'm sorry, Dusty. I didn't
That
see
is
it.
the funny thing where someone just assumes that nobody else might have had the same.
Yeah, I'm here to rip off Dusty Likens originals. No.
Wow. I didn't know that was going on. We got some controversy now in the building. Who knew?
You know what? He did put out pretty similar stats.
Oh.
Actually, no, he didn't. It's different. No, it's different. It's different stats.
Is it? Okay.
In fairness, there is one half that is of a similar quality, and I didn't see his tweet. Now I'm seeing it.
Okay.
Because it was 3 hours ago. I don't know what I was doing 3 hours ago. But he said, probably driving. He said, since Hopkins and
Clean
Mahomes
drive.
have been paired up, he gave Mahomes stats, Hopkins total receiving yardage, and then just saying they've been a lot better since Hopkins showed up. I was tweeting out stats of the difference between Patrick Mahomes in the first half versus the second half, not mentioning DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
I think he's upset. Here's how I think. This is what I think he's upset about. Dusty thought he found a good stat. It's a good stat, right? Hopkins, they're all getting better since. And I didn't think about it as being since Hopkins. So kudos to Dusty for making that his tweet. Dusty's 10 likes.
Oh, now we're like shaming.
Oh, don't do this. Don't do this.
Mine has
man.
104. You kind of ratio him.
Yeah.
Cody's facing I'm just saying, I think Dusty's upset that mine got better traction.
Oh, now you guys are both sounding like high school teenage girls. Like, I got more likes on my photo. Oh, come on. Goodness.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying.
Up next, we'll get to the 11 o'clock hour. One thing that continues to be consistent on one side of the ball. And, we have a little college football playoff field set with no locals in it, but a few intriguing matchups. And the committee actually did something none of us thought they would do. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This football season, the best place to watch the game is Johnny's Tavern. Tons of TVs, tons of fans, and cold Yingling beer. You could win big. Scan the QR code at any Johnny's Tavern to enter for a chance to win a tailgate prize pack and the grand prize. All thanks to you, Yingling. Win a hosted party at the Johnny's Tavern of your choice. Each location will have a winner, so don't miss out. Grab your friends, grab a Yingling, and get in on the action. Only at Johnny's Tavern. In partnership with 96.5 The Fan, your home for football, fun, and Yingling. Must be 21 plus to enter.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring except the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to a charity of your choice to help those in need this holiday. These charities include the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Meals on Wheels, and the National Park Foundation. And locally, you can choose the Hillcrest Transitional Housing. Have some fun this holiday and fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI. The Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Kansas City. On Wednesday, December 11th, All Elite Wrestling presents Dynamite and Rampage. Get the gift of the greatest professional wrestling in the world this holiday season and experience the excitement as AEW arrives in Kansas City for the first time ever. Are you ready for some Dynamite tonight? AEW Dynamite and Rampage from T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Wednesday, December 11th. Tickets on sale now at AEWTIX.com.
Tackle the NFL action on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/610Bob. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help's your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Browns game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on a Monday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon producing the show. You guys can always interact with us. 913-586-7965 on the J Southland Tow Service text line. We also are
shamed me over there.
Streaming on video, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. You can check out the video stream, unfortunately, today.
So, Dusty, yeah, you are in Missouri stuff. Someone on the text line said, hey, can I get Dusty's handle? I'm trying to get his likes up after Cody's nastiness, if you missed what I had said. So, you know what, actually, you're right, text line.
Stealing tweets.
I didn't say they were right about that. I didn't steal a tweet. I didn't even know Dusty sent that. At Dusty Likens is his handle on Twitter. I think it would be a nice way to spend a Monday so that my comment looks foolish. Go find his tweet and make sure that his has more likes or retweets. At Dusty Likens, he sent it like 3 hours ago. It was about Patrick Mahomes' stats since DeAndre Hopkins got added to the mix.
All right, we'll be sure to do that. He was very upset though because
he was like pointing at his phone.
Pointing at his phone through the window. You heard him screaming in the background of Drew's microphone. He wasn't even on the microphone. Like he was in the backdrop making sure he could all hear.
Here's part of the reason I felt the need to.
Heated. He was.
Here's part of the reason I feel the need to defend myself.
Okay.
He's coming in hot.
He was.
He didn't like come in and be like, "Did you see my tweet?" And they have a similar quality. He just coming in straight with the accusations, essentially questioning my honor.
Someone must have
is the
pointed
way
it out
that
to
this
him.
feels. Questioning my honor.
It happened 30 minutes after they were done with their show. And so that means they were in their show meeting, and somehow he came across the tweet, and he got fired up, We'll see.
You and I were talking about Patrick Mahomes in a clutch moment. I was
were.
thinking about how I thought he was playing better football, and I went to Pro Football Reference, looked up some stats from when I thought he was playing better, and sent him out. I didn't even relate it to DeAndre Hopkins. I actually think that was a really good point by Dusty, that it might be directly related to DeAndre Hopkins. Although Rashee Rice was in those first 3 games when the stats were down, and he was incredible.
Before you tweet, you got to go check Dusty's profile first. You got to check mine. You got to check Carrington's. Then you can send out, then you can send out a tweet, Cody. Those are the new rules. You're on probation at this point.
I'm on official probation. If I get caught of a similar tweet in the next week, I'm fine.
Have you gone to Dusty's tweet yet?
Yeah, I told you there is a.
No. I'm saying, have you liked it?
Oh, that's a good point. I haven't. I'm actually going to retweet it.
Oh, there you go. All right,
he deserves it.
So we'll see how this goes the rest of the day, and see if Dusty notices an increase in likes on his tweet.
He's up to 13, and my retweet
coming up in 15 minutes.
14
we'll
with
get
my
to the trash of the day. The trash of the day. You're gonna want to listen to the trash of the day today. You should always, but trust me.
Okay,
Chiefs fans, trust me.
Especially now more than ever, huh?
Yes, very much so. If you've been listening to the show, you definitely want to listen to today's trash of the day. But let's talk about this defense for a little bit, because there were plenty of moments where this defense got cooked again. There was the fortunate overthrow from Herbert. Otherwise, it's an 82-yard touchdown probably, but he overthrows. Was that Quentin Johnston or Palmer? I can't remember at the time. But Brian Cook got all turned around. They live on the edge. That's how they play.
Yeah.
But it is back-to-back games where 17 points, Cody. This is what it's hard for. We all know that this defense is not playing near the level they were. They're very vulnerable in the secondary. All true. But how do I balance that with, hey, Cody, they're only giving up 17 points the last 2 weeks, and if it wasn't for the defense, they lose that football game last night.
I'm having a really hard time reconciling it as the season goes on. I'm not full Drew on it, where he's just like, they're not getting the stop in the biggest moment, because technically their last drive on defense, they gave up the lead to the Chargers, right? And they never had to step foot in the field again. The offense ended up winning the game. But it's like, I'm having a hard time reconciling, because I understand what you're saying. And I understand my own acknowledgement of it, which is every week I find myself watching the Chiefs live and being like, ugh, the hell are you doing on defense? Thank God Justin Herbert missed a wide open Joshua Palmer. He could have missed that 10 yards to the left, 10 yards to the right, 10 yards short, and it's probably a completion. He literally missed that throw in the only area. Justin Reed got called for pass interference. And while I think sometimes you'll get away with that, sometimes you'll get away with that call, he didn't, because I don't think he got his head around quite fast enough to get away with it. They let up massive plays in which the drive started on the 2, and then the Chargers were at the 50. They didn't even score on that drive, but it just felt flawed. They feel so flawed, but I don't want to let go of the fact that even as a result of that, it's not like they're giving up a lot of points. So I guess the question is, do you think in a playoff game they'll break? Because they are the walking definition of bend, don't break right now. That's the only way I can reconcile what they're doing on defense, is that they're not giving up a lot of points, but they are a flawed defensive unit.
And that's why ultimately when we talk bigger picture, as we have, everybody the last couple weeks, about the postseason, which is what this is all about, and what they may or may not do in the postseason. Can they get back to a Super Bowl? Can they three-peat? Because of what you just said about the defense, I still think that's why the offense is still got to be the unit that really elevates more come playoff time, because of what we've seen in the secondary. We maybe talk about it more tomorrow, but the fact that the Chiefs reached out to Steven Nelson to help perhaps come in to be a veteran in the secondary tells you how they feel about their current options outside of Trent McDuffie, really, in the secondary. Jaden Hicks played a lot last night because Brian
What
Cook
game did they lose Jalen Watson? The Niners game? Is that when he got knocked out?
Yeah, week 7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was week 7.
Week 7, because it was before the Raiders game in Vegas. Yeah, I think you're right. Week 7, right after the bye or right before the bye. Maybe it was New Orleans. I can't remember. Maybe it was after the New Orleans game. And that's when it's been different, to say the least, in the secondary for them. But I believe the offense is going to have to be the unit that elevates because of what is a clear issue there. The only thing that has happened, I will say, 2 weeks in a row, while the secondary is still problematic, they in some crucial spots, has been able to get some pressure on the quarterback. Not consistent by any means.
No, but they found a few spots in that game.
Because Justin Herbert, there were plenty of times where he had all day. Don't get me wrong. But
Chris Jones made that huge stop on the run.
On the final drive of the game,
yeah,
Turk Warden and Charles Menahue, when they had to have it, came up with a crucial play. That's the play they weren't getting like 4 weeks ago. That part has gone better with Charles Menahue back out there. Is that enough? I don't know. I mean, we can disagree on the quality of opponents and everything, but like 17 points the week before against the Raiders, 17 against a Chargers team that was the 5 seed before yesterday. Now they fell back to the 6.
Yeah.
But they're a playoff team. You know, and I know we can keep making excuses on both sides, right? Some people will say, well, they did it. Yeah, they gave up 17, but they didn't have Ladd McConkey, and they didn't have this. Like, at some point, though, like, the games are the games. The games are the games. Yeah, the Chiefs are down to their number 4 or 5 corner because Josh Williams left the game at one point, went to the locker room. I mean, Traylor or Taylor, I don't even know what the hell his name is, was out there.
Cam Taylor-Britt?
No.
It was
Taylor. Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor, yes.
So when you start looking through the, like, and so I looked up, since Jalen Watson was gone, they're allowing 20.8 points per game, which is more than they're allowing on the season, but would still be good for a top 10 defense. It'd be 9th in the NFL, just based on what they've done since Jalen Watson went down. Without Jalen Watson, they are currently the 7th ranked points per game defense in the NFL, 1 spot better than Buffalo and about a point behind Minnesota. So it's like the things that stand out are not that they're incapable of stopping it. It's that 2 things are consistently happening. They are regularly giving up big plays. Like specifically, I would say with the safeties, like either Connor's getting beat. Yeah, Justin Reed is getting fried. I don't care if your tight end has 17 yards receiving on the season and your name's Smart. You're going to fry the Chiefs secondary from a safety perspective. The safety play has actually been in a lot of ways more concerning to me than the corner plays. And look, they're partially getting exposed because they're asked to do more coverage because they don't have the coverage out of the corners and all these things. But like they're regular giving up those and giving up big penalties, like the Nick Bolton play over the middle. Do I think that should be flagged for defenseless receiver? No,
it's called every time in the NFL, though.
But it is called every time in the NFL.
And I know people want to they're going to say it's not every time Gold because DeAndre Hopkins, different play. I know in Kansas City we would like to think that D-Hop got hit the same way at what Nick Bolton did. And
when you're going backwards, they call it a lot. Look, I think that if you're going to call one, you should call both. Like, I think my argument would be that either neither of those are penalties or they're both penalties. But for the most part, like, those are just penalties you can't make. And so, like, when you look at what they're doing defensively, it's really kind of the same things coming up over and over again. The only thing I would say that you mentioned that looked better last game, which is they are getting pressure more. Not enough.
No.
Certainly not enough.
On some crucial downs, they're getting it now.
Still getting it.
But Herbert, if we're just doing the entire body of work, no, Herbert had all day. He had all day. But there's still the balance. Like, ultimately, we talk about what matters, and that is, other than winning, is also how many points is, in its case, how many points has the defense given up? And in back-to-back weeks, they've given up 17 points. And that's all I'm saying. Like, at some point, like, that is what matters here. And we can say, well, what happens in the playoffs? Well, they just played a playoff team. You know, and I understand Ladd McConkey.
That was the 5th seed.
Ladd McConkey being out is a big deal for that Chargers offense, sure. But also, we don't need to act like Ladd McConkey's, Justin Jefferson either. Like, I think he's very, very good. But it's not like they lost Justin Jefferson. And they're, that offense, this is a Chargers offense, even with Ladd McConkey the week before, scored 10 points. 17 in the game, but 10 points from the offense. 7 points came from a pick 6 against Kirk Cousins the week before. This is a Chargers offense that is not scoring to begin with. You can use that on a negative for Kansas City, but if you're going to try to claim that, well, with Ladd McConkey, they would have destroyed the Chiefs, I disagree. With Ladd McConkey against Atlanta, who has 0 pass rush.
And 4 interceptions.
They scored 10 points on offense last week. So
yeah, and again, it's not that Ladd McConkey wouldn't get stats. But if you're saying, hey, yesterday's game is a lot like other Chiefs games, I'll remind you, like, if you're saying, did the Chiefs play different than other teams are playing the Chargers? No. That final score is, I'm not kidding, every Chargers games. Here are their last, 4 or 5 games. Falcons, 17-13 win. Ravens, 23-30 loss. They actually got fried by them. Then it's like they beat the Titans 24-17, or they beat the Browns 24-17, but then they lost to the Cardinals 15-17. A lot of their games playing the teams. They're the number 1 scoring defense in the league. Like, for the offensive stuff that came up in this game, I would point out that the Chargers are, and not by accident at this point because of how many games they've played, the number 1 scoring defense in the league, probably for a reason. But the Chiefs defense, it's like, I'm having a harder time every week, Gold, because I I look up and I get into the fourth quarter and I'm like, I have not enjoyed the way you have played defensively, and I am not impressed with what you're doing on defense. And then I do the same thing you do. I look up and I'm like, what have you given up? Like 14 points? Like, am I really supposed to be like hurt?
Look at the
Like, if you play bad and give up 17, I don't care. They've won 3 straight divisional games in which they've scored less than 20. So the defense in at least divisional games getting the job done. I mean, winning division games, score 19, 17, 16.
Yeah, I know. For all the talk, I know we've had with Drew on the show too. We've talked about Drew. You brought multiple times about the defense and getting stops late. This is one of those that pushes against that a little bit because this game, they give up a touchdown, the Chiefs lose the game.
Yeah.
Or they would have needed a 2-point conversion or whatever. A field goal wouldn't be good enough. They gave up yardage to Herbert, allowed him to kick what looked like a potential game-winning field goal. It was a go-ahead field goal, but they got the stop that prevented him from the end zone. Like, does that count? Are we gonna gloss over that? Because that to me counts as the defense getting a stop when they had to get a stop.
I think it absolutely counts. Okay. I do think it is notable. The Chargers scored every possession they had in the second half.
Yeah, but they scored in 0 in the first half. Like, it's always relative.
No, I know. I'm just saying in the way that we talk about the defense compared to last year, I think it's a little bit different
the same as last
in how we look at it. And the offense, to their credit, the offense has been really good. It just I find myself a lot of times watching time of possession just as these drives go, how much time Patrick Mahomes and the offense has the ball, and they're just ticking and ticking and ticking the clock off. They find a way to take a lot of time off, and they limit possessions.
We've said it over and over. They are winning mostly how we kind of picture the Steelers, even though the Steelers are actually scoring a lot of points here recently. They win a lot like the Steelers. The difference is the Chiefs have Mahomes, and he can make a 3rd and 10 conversion like that, where there's no other quarterback in the league right now that's making that kind of throw like Mahomes did on 3rd and 10 to worthy like he's a baseball player or something like that. We'll talk more about that particular game in a second during the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Plus, Andy Reid coming up at noon or so. Reminder, around 11:30, we'll call for your text if you can guess the correct time that Andy Reid will speak today. Scheduled at noon.
Am I allowed to enter this too? I'd also like a chance to win the pizza.
You can. The winner will get some pizza, but we'll call for those texts coming up in the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Before we get to the trash of the day, though, let's talk about the college football playoff field. I know we'll talk about the matchups more specifically later on in the week, and I'm sure Drew will have it on his podcast too. But the playoff field is set. I got to say, pleasantly surprised that the committee did what I kind of viewed as the correct, fair decision, which was leaving Alabama out and putting SMU in. But I do think if SMU would not have had the comeback against Clemson like they did to make it interesting, I do think the committee would not have done what they did. I think SMU being competitive late saved them a spot. Otherwise, Alabama still would have got in. But the committee,
to make that entire comeback and then just to let them have that kick return and then beat you on the game-winning field goal, that's brutal. But I also, Gold, you and I have talked about the committee all the time, and how many times in the history of college football do they screw up these decisions? Leaving Alabama out. Oh! It warms my heart. They were straight up not deserving. They did not deserve to be one of the 12 best teams. And I hate all the falsehood arguments that exist, which are like, I saw one national pundit be like, well, they'll have more NFL talent than SMU. That's not the argument I'm making. No one's asking who has more NFL players on their roster, Alabama or SMU. Who is more deserving of the spot? And the answer is SMU. Who is more deserving to receive a bye in the college football playoff? And the answer was Boise State. And in both times, they honored what I thought was the actual correct decision. Pleasantly surprised. I will give the committee a lot of credit. Doesn't mean they'll get it right every year. I actually think they got the 12 teams in the playoff exactly correct, maybe in the exact order they deserve to be in.
I think it was very ironic that a lot of the conversation was, Alabama should just schedule cupcakes in their non-conference because
that's what cost them.
But if you look, it's funny. SMU had a stronger strength of schedule non-conference wise.
Oh yeah.
Alabama's non-conference, they scheduled 2 Group of 5s in an FCS school, and then one Power 5 school or Power 4 school.
So they're supposed to schedule lighter than that,
which was Wisconsin, who was 5-7. So Alabama actually they won all of their non-conference games, and the strength of schedule was light anyways. I don't know how much lighter they could have scheduled it. That conversation was weird to me as a takeaway.
The one thing with the unveiling, at least, of the bracket, and I don't know if it'll change. Maybe the results this year have to be so excessive with the seeding for it to change, but number 1 Oregon path is way tougher than at least 3 other teams that are supposed to be seeded worse than them.
They'd have to take Tennessee, Ohio State winner. And then,
yeah, no, I personally in all sports, I think the bye is absolutely crucial. Like I'll always take the fewest games possible to win.
College might be the only sport where I'd make an argument where that matters less.
I think for Oregon, their draw, though, the fact that they might have to play Ohio State or Tennessee, or they will have to play, I should say, they will have to play Ohio State or Tennessee.
Neutral site, they don't even get to play at home.
In a neutral site game versus, for example, who would that be? Arizona State might play Texas at a neutral site. Or further down, Georgia eventually gets to play a Boise, or Penn State might get to play Boise State, or whatever. You look at some of
Georgia's going to play Indiana or Notre Dame.
Yeah, think about that versus Oregon, who gets Ohio State or Tennessee. Yeah, that's tough. Not quote unquote fair, but that's how the seeding is done right now. I wonder if that's something they're going to take a look at.
I always say that, and I wish one sport would do it, because then you would have the unique format and you would get to create different buzz about anything. Let the team choose their opponent. All the teams win. And then Oregon gets to say, we'll take SMU. Let them choose their opponent, because it adds so much immediate juice, because you're being disrespectful to them immediately by saying, of all these teams we could play, Indiana, come on to our building, you losers. We don't even think you can win this game. And then the 2 seed does the same thing. It creates immediate interest in the building. It allows for the fairness equality, as in, we've been the number 1 team all year. We get to have the worst schedule. And then after that, just play it out to seed, right? After that, just play it out like a normal bracket or anything else that comes in. You don't have to do that for every round, because Oregon is kind of getting screwed on this one. The easiest path might, honest to God, be Georgia.
Or I would say, I know that.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually happens that way. Like, a lot of people are looking and saying Boise State
depends
there.
on if Carson Beck also is good to go anyways.
I also thought Texas got kind of an easy run of the mill. Like, beat Clemson, a team that you've been better than. Then all you got to do is take on a weak Big 12 champion this year in Arizona State, and you're in the semis.
I will say this,
not so bad.
It's definitely
not so bad for Texas.
It's definitely what we perceive. Like we'll see upsets happen all the time, and who knows what we end up getting. But yes, on paper, as the brackets are out, there's definitely it's a very unbalanced bracket.
Mm-hmm. It is.
In terms of like the fan favorites, Cam Scadaboo for Arizona State obviously is a fan favorite. He's striking the Heisman post and all that. Ashton Genty being in the playoff.
Genty's fun.
It's good for those schools to be able to get in as fans are going to be pulling for those 2 schools. Definitely.
Genty would absolutely be the Heisman Trophy winner if Travis Hunter didn't exist.
I think.
I also think. Go ahead.
They might have a shot at I know that Penn State looked really good against Oregon.
Well, I think they can win a game.
Yeah, if they could get to the Final Four and play Georgia,
I think they can win a game. Yeah,
I think so. They can beat either SMU.
They get the bye week as well.
Georgia's defense, Ashton Genty. That'd be fun.
It's not even just that Travis Hunter exists. If Travis Hunter wasn't at Colorado with Dion, I don't think it's a landslide the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Travis Hunter was on another team, they probably make the college. Like if he was on Miami, they obviously make the college football playoff with Travis Hunter. Same thing could be said with Ashton Genty, though. Like if Miami had Ashton Genty, they probably are in the college football playoff. They don't lose one of those games. But anyway, we'll get back to this later on in the week, I'm sure, as we can have some more fun with some of the matchups. But in the meantime, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
All right, so the trash of the day today centers around some tweets that were sent out during Sunday Night Football yesterday.
I didn't copy any tweet during the game yesterday.
You did not.
I'll take this.
I did not see these until I was sitting in the parking lot in traffic at Arrowhead, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw, and I was like, oh, our guy Drew was
kind of
going through it. I think he finally broke. He finally cracked. So you can actually turn that music down for a second, Drew.
Oh, okay.
I have some different music for these.
Not trash the day music?
I wanted to go through and read some tweets.
You're going to read them for him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, some tweets of Drew's.
At Drew B. Nix, by the way.
At Drew B. Nix. That's ridiculous. F out of here. Another tweet. They've used all their luck in the last 2 games. He continues down the stretch of the Chiefs game. Any other team, that's a miss. Of course it went in. Crying emoji. Another tweet from Drew. This is all in like a 5-minute span.
Oh, man.
Call me a hater. I don't care. This is getting old and annoying. I can't describe it any other way. A quote tweet from Drew on a national Twitter account. The original tweet said the Chiefs are 10-0 in one-possession games. Drew, quote tweet. You need different kind of luck to be this good in close games. This is wild. One more. I mean, this is all in the final minute of the game.
This is like right after they hit the kick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another one from Drew, at Drew B. Nix. the way the Bengals season has gone, if that kick hitting the pipe was theirs, it doesn't go in, LOL. What a season. You were tweeting through it. You're thinking more about Cincinnati in that moment. Yeah.
It was like too much to watch the Chiefs win in one other ridiculous way, huh?
Well, I will say this. They converted the 3rd and 10. Great play by Mahomes. And this has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was outstanding. You knew how the game was going to go. But for it to go that way, any other team, that kick's not going in. I'm
think
convinced.
that they're just so blessed.
No, they are blessed.
That
yes.
no other team would have the luck to have that kick going.
They're using the luck out. I am speaking for all the other fan bases when I say we are annoyed. Respect to the Chiefs. No, look, props to the Chiefs. Respect to them because they are winning the games. They're doing it.
But you're over it.
I am over it. I would rather have Mahomes throwing a fade route to DeAndre Hopkins and him make a toe tapping catch than watch a doink that goes in. That's the annoying part. Mahomes could deliver a perfect ball to DeAndre Hopkins.
If they went in a normal way, you're not annoyed.
Oh, yeah, if they went in a normal way, this is not a surprise. We knew the Chiefs were going to win. For them to doink it like that from 31 yards
but that's completely ignoring the 2 third-down conversions that Mahomes made.
Mahomes
you know what I mean?
Mahomes was outstanding. And to your point, Cody, he is like Tiger Woods. He is Brady. He's MJ.
Yeah, he'll just do
in
it.
every respect. For it to be on your third-string kicker,
but
and
now
he
we know
pulls the kick.
But now we know based off of your tweets where you were tweeting through. We definitely know you're clearly rooting for the Chiefs to lose.
I'm disgusted. No.
Oh, you definitely are though, Drew. You can't deny
that
the tweets.
one. You needed to see it.
You
once.
basically tweeted like if it was Cincinnati, they would have lost. It's not fair that the Chiefs just find ways to win.
I want to.
That's what you sounded like through your tweets.
I want to see it one time. It doesn't even have to be the playoffs. Look, the Chiefs can go win the Super Bowl. Great, congratulations. That's fine. Do I want to see it? Probably not. I need to see them lose to Cleveland.
Oh,
it's gonna.
So
happen.
You're a Bills fan, is really what it is now. You're actually a Bills fan, I think, because that's the only team that's going to stop them from getting the Super Bowl.
I think he probably.
And if it's not him, it's still just going to be Burrow and Brady. Then when it's all said and done, we might get to the end of this year, and there's still only 2 quarterbacks who can beat Patrick Mahomes. We still might get there.
I think he's just speaking like I think every other fan is the same living embodiment of that Aaron Paul gif from Breaking Bad when he's just like, they can't keep getting away with this.
I am sick.
That's how Drew feels. They can't keep getting away with this. And it's like, And over here on our side, Gold, it's like, they can.
It's the way that they're doing it. I think that's the most annoying. Like if Mahomes, like I said, if they go down and Pacheco runs in for a touchdown, great.
It's the way
it's the way that they won the game this week and the way that they won the game last week.
I mean, your tweets almost sounded like that Broncos fan that we played, man, when he couldn't take it anymore.
I mean,
they were finally gonna win, and then that kick got blocked, and he's just like crushed.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know because you sent us a text in our group chat, and I could tell you were very upset about the field goal going in for Matthew Wright.
Last night.
He was 4 for 4. But then I had not seen your tweets yet, and I was like, "Oh, we gotta read." I was like, "We gotta read these on the show tomorrow."
I was congested over the weekend. I wasn't feeling great. I had sinus headaches.
Yeah, man. I had a cold last week. That's going around, man. That'll take a couple days. Everybody, I was a little congested last week as well. It happened.
I was sick.
The Chiefs made you sicker. I love it.
They broke me for about 10 minutes.
It's been a long year.
The Bengals don't
to
even
be an anti-Chiefs person.
The Bengals losing doesn't even ruin my night the way that went last night. That was awful. Shout out to everybody who was giving me a hard time.
All right, up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Let's get back into what exactly happened, including a bizarre non-call late that had some people talking. And don't forget, Andy Reid speaking live at noon right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, Your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Are you playing roofer roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR & Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com?
Hello, I am fabulous.
Oh, you mean like Kansas Lottery's Fabulous Fortune Instant Ticket Fabulous?
I mean like I speak 5 languages and come from old money fabulous.
Oh, well, Fabulous Fortune can lay some new money on you. 4 chances at $500,000 to be exact.
Talk more.
Fabulous Fortune also gives you a second chance at $500,000 with the Play On app.
I think I've been out fabulous.
Really?
No.
Okay, play Fabulous Fortune. See kslottery.com for details.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
Man, you need to look great for holiday events. Let Peter's Clothiers give you the perfect fit you're looking for. From jackets to suits to trousers and more, in sizes to fit every man. PetersClothiers.com or stop in today at 124th and State Line.
Tackle the NFL action on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/Alex. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey investors, this is JD again with Crossroads Investment Lending. Still wanting to get in that fix and flip game? Don't have the money? Maybe you've always wanted to get yourself a rental property. We can help you get in the door. Call the fix and flip guys at Crossroads Investment Lending, 913-766-2900, or go to kclend.com. That's kclend.com. Get started in the fix and flip game. What are you waiting for? That's Crossroads Investment Lending, 913-766-2900 or kclend.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop Deal Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line. Plus, 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O-double-G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us. Plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that jingle.
With 24 monthly bill credits, 4 eligible trade-ins, and 4 new lines with autopay. Well-qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99 credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Texting enroll
enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This report is brought to you by WaysideWaves.org. Save a life this holiday season. Wayside Waves has rescued pets from puppy mills, hoarding situations, and found them abandoned on the streets. Give these homeless animals a second chance. Make miracles happen. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit waysidewaves.org.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, coming up in 25 minutes, going to hear from Andy Reid. Well, it's scheduled.
He is scheduled to talk at noon. We got an email this morning from the Chiefs that said Andy Reid will speak today at noon.
Okay, you guys know how this works. The only place on a Monday you can hear from Coach Reid live is your home for the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan. The last couple weeks, it hasn't always been at noon. So let's have some fun with it because we've at times talked about this. Let's have some fun starting in this Chiefs Red Half Hour. Now, you have to have the text in before noon, okay? But you can text in right now. Tell us what time you believe Andy Reid will actually be at the podium when we will start carrying the press conference live. You'll be entered to win a free large pizza from our friends over at the other place. It's that simple. 913-586-7965. Text in a time. That's it. Just a simple time. And if there's a tie, we'll obviously randomly draw. Just what time you think in. Maybe you think it's 12:08. Maybe you think it's 12:50. Whatever the time is. Pretty simple. I'll ask you guys the same question.
1:07.
Oh, 1 o'clock hour? No.
Dude, it's getting worse.
No.
It's been going the wrong direction.
I'm going to go with...
That would be crazy.
It's been going the wrong direction for weeks.
I'm gonna say there's a little different vibe today. I'm going to go 12:09.
Ooh.
Early. 12:09.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark me down, Drew, for 12:09.
Okay. And Cody said
1:07. What are you saying?
I'm going to say 12:15. Actually, no, it's got to be a weird time. I'm going to say 12:11.
12:11. Okay. Those are the times you guys can keep texting in. We'll cut it off. Somebody will end up winning some pizza. We might as well have fun if we're going to have late press conferences and stuff. So
1:07, Cody. Oh, my goodness.
Just real quick before we get, I don't know what to say. Before we get back to the Chiefs, we're obviously going to talk about some of the stuff that took place last night, including another come-from-behind victory for the Chiefs in which Patrick Mahomes is perfected. And one thing I think is really important that you had told me earlier in the season that now I'm going to hold you accountable for, so it'll be interesting.
All right.
But a little bit of controversy. Is Dusty still here?
No, C-Dot's laughing through the window at my jacket. Thank you, C-Dot.
So as you recall, about 30 minutes ago, Dusty came in hot, Drew, came into the studio, accused me of stealing content from his Twitter account for my own personal gain. I can't believe this tweet, but from the 913.
Okay.
I just want to tell you that I texted those D-Hop stats in during Dusty's show this morning.
So what are you saying?
And he never gave me credit. I looked it up. This gentleman sent a text at 7:14 a.m. this morning. Dusty's tweet was sent out at 7:43, exactly 30 minutes after this tweet came in. The tweet said, Patrick Mahomes threw 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions the first 6 games of the season without D-Hop. Patrick Mahomes has thrown 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions the next 7 weeks with D-Hop. Just as a quick reminder of what Dusty's tweet said, since Hopkins and Mahomes have been paired, week 8, Mahomes 1,800 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Hopkins 357 yards, 30 receptions, 4 touchdowns. So
Are you suggesting?
I'm just gonna. No, I'm
Are
not
you
even suggesting.
suggesting?
I'm flat out accusing Dusty of stealing this man's information.
Wow.
You know what? That's it. He
So hold on.
accused me.
So you're telling me
the accusations can go both ways.
So you're
I'm
saying
not even
that
just suggesting. I'm accusing.
he accused you of stealing his tweet, but you're saying he stole a tweet from a listener. Okay, that's out there. You put it out there. That's coming from you. You guys are gonna have to work this out. I'm sure Dusty's listening. You and Dusty are gonna have to work this thing out. Wild
This
accusations.
segment's being saved right now, so it's going to be up on the podcast page.
Yeah.
So
I'm just pointing it out there.
He's
So it's
gonna
on record.
He's gonna address it tomorrow. I'm sure.
We see all your times, by the way. Nobody in the 1 o'clock hour with me. No one thinks it's going to be quite as late as I do.
No, and
so
I'll
we'll
point
see.
out: do not. There was one person that texted before noon or later, because we won't carry it before noon. Basically, I can almost promise you. So if you texted in 11:58, you're not going to win. It needs to be noon or later. Because we're rounding up. It's
If they
noon or
think he's
later.
up. Yeah.
Because we're just not going
If
to.
you say 11:58, we'll give you credit for noon.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also going to go back. If for some reason you sent in 57 times just to win this pizza, I'm going to look to make sure you didn't send 18 times into the text line.
Yeah.
This is
a
an
lot of
honest
people going
show.
with my 1209. We'll see. Anyway,
they like it.
We'll see. All right, let's get back to what happened yesterday a little bit. And one thing, though, that I still think, man, is it seems so simple. It continues to be the case with the team this year. And when the Chiefs are at their best, it's Mahomes making Mahomes plays and extending plays. But also, man, when they run the ball, number one, when they get the ball to D-Hop, it's either a completion or it causes a penalty, or it should. Or number three, 2-minute drill offense. I don't know if it's just up-tempo or it's just, hey, we're going to get the ball out quick, short and quick, not have to rely on our tackles to protect. But those three things are when they're at their best, truly, other than the obvious, which is when the defense gets an interception or something. But I mean, on offense, they're at their best when they're running, when they get the ball to D-Hop, and when they're in a 2-minute drill and there's a little tempo.
Yeah, and they've been a lot better with DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, offensively. Although I'll point out, they've scored almost an identical number of points in those first 6 games without him in the 7 games since. So, they maybe look fundamentally a little prettier, but they're not scoring more points than when they had him on the team or didn't have him on the team. It's been about the same. But I think yesterday's game it's the season. We're frustrated because the defense doesn't look good enough, but they don't give a lot of points. The Chiefs are in a close game late and find some funky way to win that they haven't won in yet. So, this time we kick it off the upright and it goes in anyway. But I think a lot of that, though, is ignoring the things that they do in every game to win, too, that are the same, which is they prevent large amounts of scoring to take place in them, even if it feels like the defense is struggling. Mahomes, in the key moments when they desperately need a score, does do that consistently for this team. And so, even when the offensive line fails, Mahomes will make something happen with his legs, which he did again in this game. The things that are consistently there from a frustrating point also exist from a they are playing good football point. And I don't want that to get lost in these games that are 19-17, somehow 2 weeks in a row, mind you.
I know.
19-17, which is a stupid way.
I think somebody looked at that. That's never happened. A team's never won back-to-back games 19-17, which makes sense.
Did someone look that up? I didn't.
Because I tweeted out and then someone pulled the quote. They quoted scoregami on me or something.
Okay.
And they said no. Because I asked the question when the Chiefs were driving. I'm like, has anybody ever won these things 19-17 back-to-back? And somebody found the scoregami thing and no. Someone's obviously... the Chiefs won by 19-17, but not back-to-back weeks. No chance. Honestly, just no chance you win back-to-back games 19-17. But the Chiefs are different, man. They're different, but as you said, there's still some elements that are consistent. When they have to have the key play, whether it's Mahomes himself or I still think at times, even defensively, they couldn't give up a touchdown on the Chargers. They'd probably lose this football game. They get the big sack on a second down that forces a 3rd and long. The Chargers run the ball. They hold them to a field goal. It allows them to slowly go down the field with 4 minutes to go and just get in field goal range and drain the clock literally to 1 second left before Matthew Wright hits his 4th field goal of the game, and they end up winning. But they just it's I get why it's annoying for other fan bases, I'm sure. But it's not a coincidence. It's not fluky. You don't 15 straight 1-score games. You can't call it fluky. 15 times.
If it were 3 or 4, fine. 15. That speaks to a pattern of success.
And we can. There's always a gray area of luck or whatever. Anytime you win back-to-back championships, anytime you're a dynasty in sports, anytime you are on pace now to maybe win 15 games or 16 games this year, of course you have breaks that go your way. But that's not how you're winning every week. BS. That's not. You win because Mahomes is capable of making a big play on 3rd and 10 and then on 3rd and 7 like he did to Worthy and Kelsey. You know, you're able to do. They're on their 3rd string kicker for crying out loud, who made a 50-yard field goal in the game too.
Yeah,
is that luck?
Ooh, he barely made that one.
No, like you like is that luck too? Like there's too many things they do well in clutch moments for it to just be luck. And that's why I get annoyed when people try to act like it's only luck. No, they have breaks. There's some luck involved, sure. But you just the fake banner stuff now of like, well, they're the luckiest 12-win team.
I don't care.
Like when they three-peat, if that happens and they're the only team, someone will be like, well, they're the luckiest team to ever three-peat. You mean, but they're the only one.
But lucky to do.
But lucky, you know, it's just stupid. Oh, well, they're the luckiest 15-win number 1 seed in NFL history. Okay. What?
All right, I am told Dusty Likens is on the line.
You fired him up. You threw the shots, Dusty. I must say before I put him on the air, I want to be very clear.
You want to be left out of this.
This was not my tweet. This wasn't my accusation. Then you called him out based off stealing listener tweet. You guys need to sort this out. We have Dusty Likens on with Cody and Gold. Hello, Dusty.
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
I'm good. Are you guys okay?
No, I'm good because I need to, prove myself right. So, first off, Cody shaming me is on him. That
is on me. I actually regret that.
Alex, I need your attention here, buddy, okay? I need your attention.
Okay.
Here. Where you turn the microphone on and off on your left-hand side, is there a notebook there next to it?
Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Okay, and on the lower left-hand side of that page that you're looking at, does it count 7 games and numbers of Mahomes and Hopkins and have it added up like someone did it on their own?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Mahomes numbers clearly with touchdown interception ratios and yardage, and then it says Hopkins catches and yardage and touchdowns 4. Cody, he wrote.
Is this timestamped?
No,
I got timestamp on the other one.
So what? You think he wrote down the person's tweet? He could have just copied and pasted it. Why would he need to write it down?
Fact checking?
I never saw the person's.
No. That's
so someone can, in fact, have similar information and not have seen it from someone else?
No, because they accuse me of stealing it. I'm proving to myself that I literally put it out there and did it my own self with research. So, yeah, I may not see somebody who I don't follow or doesn't follow me, but Cody, we followed each other since before 2012.
But do you follow
a tweet?
But do you have? I didn't see it. But do you have the text line pulled up? Because then you can never prove that you didn't see that person's text.
Wait, so you still
by your
saying
same
you think
argument,
he
he's
stole
saying
the tweet?
I follow him. No, but I'm saying his accusation is that I had to see it because Dusty and I follow each other. I'm saying he would have had to see that person's text based on seeing it, and he could have just worked the numbers out today. Did you write that today, the Hopkins numbers?
On the text line.
Yeah, but I'm saying I never saw your tweet.
Did I do that today? Oh,
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I did it 5 hours ago. Either way, I'm like the Simpsons. I do it first. But the thing is, I never see that guy's text line. We do a show at 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. Pretty popular time. We get a lot of text messages on the text line. I'm not going to engage with every single one. I'm not going to see every text on the text line. Sometimes I get calls from my friends like, hey, buddy, did you see that text I sent on the Sorry, man, didn't see it. Didn't see the Hopkins stat. I did get a Facebook message many hours after I sent my tweet out of probably the same person who sent me the same text on the text line that I didn't see. Either way.
I didn't hang up on him. I swear. He just dropped.
No,
he just dropped. My hands were away from the.
I didn't either. I want
Nobody. He dropped.
That just happened.
Nobody hung up on him.
That was just.
I must say, overall, this is a very dumb argument between you two. A very dumb argument between you two. He thought you stole a tweet. Then a listener thought he stole his tweet, and then very dumb. Turns out you don't see every single tweet. I think you guys are both good.
Even.
You know.
You sent out information first. I sent it out second. They are unrelated.
I think you and Dusty are both good here. I think you're both good. But you didn't hang up on him. His call dropped.
Truly. Going under a bridge or something.
Nobody's hand was near the phone.
It did drop.
Once he dropped, then I did eventually drop the call, but that was because it was just dead air. But yes. Okay.
I just told Dusty. He goes, sure.
I swear.
Yeah.
I swear we didn't hang up on you, Dusty. That was just phones and the temperament.
That's right.
Earlier this year, we did a topic on this show, and I told you I desperately was getting frustrated with Andy Reid over a lack of aggressiveness in the red zone and to go for it on fourth. And at that time, you had told me you can't get mad at Andy for things that are known quantities about his coaching style.
Yeah, I was like, don't get mad about not going for certain fourth downs. He's just not going to do it. Yep, I did say that.
And then yesterday during the game, I could see your frustration along with many others about Andy Reid forgetting about running the ball. And I want to point out that Andy Reid has been accused of forgetting to run the ball for 20 years in the NFL. So, like, part of me thinks that if I have to accept that he's not aggressive enough on fourth down, we have to all accept that Andy Reid, we have to all accept that Andy Reid's going to forget to run the ball. He's been doing it his entire career, and that it can still frustrate him in the game, just like a fourth down does. But that we have to accept the fact that Andy Reid forgets about the running game and consistently forgets about the running game. Because I don't disagree. They should have run the ball more in the game.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. You're probably right that it's in similar fashion to the fourth down stuff, and that it's kind of one of those things that's always going to be the case. The only reason why I feel like this year is a little different is I get why when we would say in 2021 or 2022, run the ball more, when they had Tyreek Hill, there was a strong okay, I get it. You can't help yourself. You have Tyreek Hill and you have prime Travis Kelce still. They don't have either going now, and they don't have the best passing attack, and they have weak tackles, and they have a great interior of the offensive line. Run the ball more, please. And Andy clearly He clearly knows it too. And again, he's going to go down as the greatest coach maybe of all time. But they had a game plan, the scripted plays. The first 4 plays or 3 plays were all runs to Pacheco. They ended up running it 5 or 6 times on the opening drive. Deep down, he knew it. Deep down in their scripted play, they knew that was something they should do, that they could have success with, and yet they didn't run it once or twice in the third quarter. They had a 3rd and 1. I about pulled my hair out, and they decided to get a little cute. They went deep. And they cut half the field. They basically cut the field in half, and nobody got open, and they had a punt. So, yes, I don't get it. You're right that this is an Andy Reid thing we have to live with out of all the good. This is the one slight thing. But, it was driving me crazy. Run the ball. Yeah, Pacheco got 14 carries. 5 or 6 were on the first drive. I'm just telling you,
this is not new. This is 20 consecutive years of Andy Reid.
I know, but in a lot of ways, they actually have a good interior offensive line, and they don't have a Tyreek Hill, and they don't have prime Travis Kelce.
They have Patrick Mahomes, so they should be more aggressive on fourth. He's not. Andy Reid, legitimately, I give him a ton of credit for this. Let's say there's 100 things he has to do as a coach.
Yeah.
97 of which it's a movable piece. He is willing to change, alter, review, relate, move to the trends. He'll do all of it. There are 3 things Andy Reid refuses to change about the way he's a coach. And one is he's never going to run the ball. It's just not who he is. And look, the argument of you have Patrick Mahomes
26 times with Kareem Hunt earlier this year, though, man. They have the
every once in a while,
the Bucs game. They got away from it in the first.
On 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Remember when he went for it on 4th and 2 from the 4-yard line, and then 4th and 2 from the 2? He was like, that's just too much. Can't be doing that twice. Sure, every once in a while he'll buck the trend, but in the long term, Andy Reid with the running game is like this. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just who he is. Look, the final drive of the game was the one that got me because it was 1st and 10 and they had 5 minutes. So they fundamentally had all the time in the world. The Chargers had to be tired. The Chiefs had 3 drives of 10-plus plays in that game. They had to be tired. And he went pass on 1st and 10, backed it up with a pass on 2nd and 10, with another dangerous pass on 3rd and 10. They got the first down, and what did they do on the very next? Passed again.
I get it. Someone says on the text line, it's like, Madden, passing is more fun. I get it. It's a lot more fun than running the football. But, man, they're at their best when they run. And, Patrick Mahomes after the game was quoted as saying, what did you tell Andy Reid before you took the field? And he said, quote, I'll make something happen, coach. I get it, and you want to have your best player with the game on the line. I don't have an issue with the last drive one. I wasn't calling him for the run the ball on the line. The last drive, I actually don't care.
I think at 1st and 10, you could just run it.
I know, but on the last drive, I do want Mahomes making the plays, and obviously that's what he does.
Oh, in the final couple plays,
across the game, especially when deep down to open the game, they knew they wanted to run. That was part of the scripted play. 5 of the first 15 scripted were runs.
And they finished the half with 8.
I know.
8 runs. So, whatever the plan was, that was their plan for that, and then they just immediately mail on. I guess the part of it that's so surprising about the run right now is Patrick Mahomes is getting hit at an unprecedented rate, borderline dangerous rate for any quarterback. He's been sacked 24 times over the last 7 games. It's double the amount. He's he's at a pace to increase his sack percentage by 45% from his highest number ever. And he's getting hit even more than that. So, like, if there's a time to run the ball, it kind of seems like now, and he's not going to do it.
Unless it's the playoffs.
And I guess
unless it's the playoffs, and maybe he's more willing to.
And I'll say there are a lot worse plans in this world than to just say, you know what, Mahomes, you do it. Because even if it like goes bad the first 3 times, is it really going to go bad the 4th or the 5th? It didn't eventually in that game.
Up next, we're expected to hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. You guys text in last chance. What time will Andy Reid actually speak today? Whoever has the closest time, we will draw a winner to win a free pizza from our friends over at The Other Place. That's coming up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I knew there had to be a better way to get relief from joint pain aside from surgery and harmful medications.
That's football legend and dancing champ Emmitt Smith, who knows a thing or two about joint pain.
Turns out I was right. It's called QC Kinetics, and now tens of thousands of patients and counting all across the country, they're feeling amazing. They say, hey, Emmitt, you were right.
QC Kinetics zeroed in on a technology that is revolutionizing pain treatment. They are transforming patients' lives. The largest provider of non-surgical regenerative treatments using natural healing properties to help restore and repair aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs. Call them today for your free consultation.
QC Kinetics. I knew there had to be a better way. I love it when I'm right.
QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Every piece of land has a story. For the Nelsons, it's cruising around their Montana ranch on a John Deere Gator XUV 835R. With 3,000 acres, there's plenty of work to do.
We're not afraid to jump in and help each other out.
That's how they've kept their ranch going for 5 generations.
It's all about efficiency.
Like teaching visitors to fly fish.
The whole joy with fly fishing is matching the hatch.
Run with us on a Gator XUV 835R and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
As you've likely figured out, I can get pretty fired up. Whether it's lab diamond ripoffs, bogus sales and financing offers, or paint-by-number jewelry sold as custom, I'm pretty passionate about protecting my client family from predatory jewelers. This is Gene at House of Diamonds, and when I say client family, I really do mean family. At House of Diamonds, we have clients who have watched our kids grow from diapers to dormitories. My family and I are personally in the store every day. We go to school and church here. Our kids play sports here. We look our clients in the eye, not in their bank accounts. Our relationships are based on trust and respect, not ad gimmicks and false promises. No fake custom jewelry, no bogus sales and financing offers, and absolutely no lab diamond ripoffs. Everything at House of Diamonds is real. Me, my family, our team, our passion, and hopefully soon, you. House of Diamonds on the southeast corner of College and Quivira.
We've had more than our fair share of hail and wind this year. Are you playing Roofer Roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR & Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com? Just plug in your address and we'll pull a multi-year storm report. You'll know exactly what your roof has been put through and if you even need an inspection. If you do, no one is more thorough and works better with your insurance than locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. And if you need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime warranty on workmanship. Don't play Roofer Roulette with your home. Visit jrstormcheck.com and remember, you're always better with a roof from JR. Visit jrstormcheck.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call.
If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Your new Total Wine on Main Street in Midtown has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine & More. Now open on Main Street in Midtown between 41st and 43rd Streets.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99. In-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
How do you spot the all-new Nissan Rogue Rock Creek? Here's a hint. It's got all-terrain tires, a tubular roof rack you can't miss, and it's tough inside and out with lava red detailing. You'll also find it in its natural habitat, climbing mountains, attacking rugged trails, and never backing down from any adventure. The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Intelligent all-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Always secure cargo. Heavy loading of the vehicle with cargo, especially on the roof, will affect the handling and stability of the vehicle.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold, presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. While we're awaiting Andy Reid's press conference, the cutoff has already happened for you to text in what time today you believe Andy Reid will step up to the podium, and you'll have his press conference live exclusively on 96.5 The Fan. Again, whoever gets the right time or closest, we will randomly pick somebody to win a free pizza from our friends over at the other place. But number one on What's Trending, of course, the Chiefs have won a ninth straight AFC West championship as they continue to try to chase what the Patriots did in the AFC East for all those years. A couple years off now, and the Kansas City Chiefs get to 12-1. And with the Bills losing yesterday, they are definitely in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed. They could go 3-1 the rest of the way and get it. The Bills, of course, also have Detroit remaining.
On the road, mind you, at that. Yeah, 9 straight, certainly an impressive number for them. It's also their 10th one-score win this year. They've already surpassed last year's win total, which they only finished 11 wins in the regular season. Next up on What's Trending, speaking of the Chiefs, Steven Nelson is set to visit the Chiefs today, according to multiple national reports over the weekend. The corner-thin team who lost Joshua Williams late in that game due to injury as well probably look to add a little bit. Steven Nelson was actually pretty good last year statistically. If you look at it, then he retired, which I think people were a little surprised by, even though he's coming off a good year. He was obviously with the team a couple of years back. People probably remember Steven Nelson as not doing great for the Chiefs when he was here. I will say he played better when he left Kansas City.
I remember him as the guy that torched the fan base before he left, or when he left. That's what I remember.
Look, right now you're trying to three-peat.
I have no problem with it. If he comes
mend
back.
bridges. I don't know what to tell you. If the Chiefs coaches are okay with what he said, well, then if he's willing to sign here and he's an improvement, which they'll make the determination on based on a workout probably today, well, then you should be fine with it.
Yeah, if he upgrades to the quarterback position, then nobody's going to care about those comments anymore. Now, if he comes back and he's not good, then even more,
People are probably going to dig those back up.
Next up on What's Trending, bowl game assignments are out as the college football playoff field was announced in the 12-team playoff. But locally, K-State's going to play Rutgers in the Rate Bowl. Used to be like guaranteed rate. I think they just call it the Rate Bowl
It's
now.
a bad bowl, man.
MU going
kind of a bad draw.
MU going to the Music City Bowl in Nashville. They're going to play Iowa.
Kansas State, Rutgers, and Mizzou, Iowa. I feel like both of them probably deserving of a slightly better bowl game than what either team got. I think it's better than nothing, at least on that one. That was at the end of the year, so at least Nashville in December feels like it'd be a decent trip.
When we do know
if you're a
that
Missouri fan.
We do know Luther Burden's not going to play because he's already declared for the draft. Who knows about Brady Cook or Theo Weiss or anybody else?
I would say that.
We know about Burden.
Next up on What's Trending, local college hoops, not the football in Missouri, obviously, is now number 24 in the country after their win against Kansas over the weekend when they won by 10. Kansas fell to number 12 in the AP
By
rankings.
9, right?
By 9, sorry. After they lost back-to-back games this week to Creighton and to their K-State beat George Washington over the weekend as well.
Yeah, Carrington came in during the break and had a wardrobe change. I was wearing the MU jacket. I lost the bet to him with his Tigers getting their first win over Kansas since 2012, and I've been rocking the jacket. There's a video up on our social media if you want to see the moment Carrington came in. But now I'm wearing, I guess, a sweatshirt. So
I actually like the style of that sweatshirt. It looks comfy.
Yeah, it is actually comfortable. It is.
I think the jacket was a better look for you.
You think?
I'll say,
Should I put the
jacket was
back
a better
on?
look, even though it was a little too small. Maybe you can wear it like on top of the sweatshirt. God, dude, that's so much MU stuff.
Gross.
You are going to roast. You got to be careful. Lastly, on What's Trending, Juan Soto, the biggest news out of baseball yesterday. We'll talk more about that signing a little bit later on. Soto signs a 15-year, $765 million deal with the Mets. Zeroed deferred dollars in that deal for Soto. If he had 600 at-bats, I credit people running the numbers and all the fun stuff, right? Per pitch, per at-bat, per plate appearance. If he played 600 at-bats over the lifetime, which is a lot of at-bats per year, so like he just never got hurt, he would make $88,000 per at-bat as a New York Met.
Jeez.
Nuts.
He's making like $5,000
and none of it's
an hour.
deferred, as you said. None of it's deferred.
deferred. He's going to get it all.
This is where, like, the Yankees are no longer, like, nobody likes them, but they're no longer like the team that you can just do whatever they want. The Mets have surpassed them in that regard. The Dodgers, of course, have. You know what I mean? Like the evil empire thing, like, yes, like nobody likes them, but financially, they're not on that level as the Dodgers and Mets. Is that what you're trying to tell me now?
I mean, they have let multiple high-priced players go. They paid Judge.
They did.
But they've let other expensive players go or have been outbid by teams on other expensive players. So I'll tell you, they're not standalone like the 90s or early 2000 Yankees you and I were used to, who signed Pettit and Clemens and every other free agent guy for a gajillion dollars. They're being outbid by some of these other teams. You know what it is? There's been new, like we forget about this in sports all the time. New money has entered the professional sports arena, the NFL level, and of course on these. So if you're an old-time owners and you're the Steinbrenner's kid, you don't have the kind of flexible dough that Steve Cohen, who has $10 trillion, you don't have as much money as Steve Cohen. You didn't buy this team 10 years ago. You don't have as much money. So, yes, I actually think what you're describing is right.
Which Steinbrenner is it now that's running the...
Junior? I don't know. The hell if I know. Man, I wish I was a Nepo baby and I just had, like, they just handed me a whole team. That'd be sweet. Are you kidding me? Did you tell me you wouldn't like being a Hunt?
Obviously, from a financial benefit.
I will say, when we get to the Cody and Gold garage sale, and that's what's trending. We don't have to keep playing the audio, but when we get to the
Did
Cody
you
and
just
Gold
ask
garage
would I want to be the son of a billionaire from a financial benefit? Yeah.
Seems like it'd be nice.
Yeah, that part of it.
So for the Cody and Gold garage sale, some of the items that'll be listed for it when that comes around Father's Day again this year are the Hallmark movie premiere items you and I got from the movie premiere. As we try to increase the value of these things because it's for charity, right? I want it to be known that the pillow that I took for the Cody and Gold garage sale that said touchdown, holiday touchdown, that one, as I went to a couch to take that pillow, a person in direct line to also try to take that pillow that I beat to it, Gracie Hunt. She was beelining for
You should
the
just let her have the
same
pillow.
pillow, and I took it. So that pillow almost could have been owned by Gracie Hunt. It's not.
We have 4
it's
pillows.
It's now owned by the Cody and Gold garage sale.
Yeah,
Will later be
we
up
each
for
had
auction.
2 from it. So we each brought in 2. So we have 4 pillows for the Cody and Gold garage sale. That's true. From the Hallmark movie.
You said I should just let Gracie have it?
Yeah.
Why? She could afford a different pillow or something.
That's
I don't
an
know.
exclusive pillow.
I know. But it's our exclusive pillow now.
Did she give you, like, did you?
We made eye contact. She saw me grab it, and then she, like that face of like slight
Did
disappointment.
you say,
and
hey,
then
do you
turned the
want
other
one?
way.
Did you say, like, do you want one? I'll take one? You could have done that?
No, just took them both.
So you were a jerk. Okay. Okay. Just checking. Just checking.
It was a free-for-all.
Uh-huh.
This was a free-for-all situation.
Reminder, we're awaiting Andy Reid's press conference. This is why we have the fun game today.
Your
Because
time's not looking good, Gold.
if you picked anytime before 12:10, I don't think it's going to happen. And I said 12:09, and I'm about 20 seconds from losing that, so that's not going to happen. Those of you that texted in before noon today obviously are entered to win some free pizza. We're keeping an eye. A lot of people in the teens. A lot of people picked like 12-12, 12-13. So we'll see if we get there, but awaiting Andy Reid's press conference exclusively here on 96.5 The Fan. But what happened yesterday as a whole in the NFL, it was a great day for the Chiefs. Not only did they get the win at night against the Chargers to get to 12-1 to win their 9th straight AFC West crown, but before that, in LA, the Bills could not stop Matthew Stafford and the Rams offense.
They were getting fried.
44 points, right? 44-42, I think, was the final score. Just a shootout performance. Josh Allen and company made it interesting late. They get 6 touchdowns from Josh Allen, but they lose. So now Kansas City has the edge that they could have had a couple weeks ago if they would have just beat them as well. We know they don't have the tiebreaker, but
if they had beaten them a week ago,
it'd be over. It'd be over.
The 1 seed to be done.
No, but I mean the edge in terms of like no longer is it now like, okay, you can't afford to lose a game. The Chiefs have a little wiggle room. Kansas City sitting at 12-1. The Buffalo Bills, of course, now have 3 losses, and so Kansas City has a gap here, and knowing what Buffalo still has remaining, the Chiefs' schedule is brutal too, but Buffalo has to go to Detroit on Sunday. Then they get the Patriots, Jets, and Patriots. But we talked about this stretch for Buffalo. Rams, Detroit. Got to lose one of them if you're a Chiefs fan because I don't know if the Chiefs are winning out.
They already lost.
And now they lost the front end of it against the Rams, who are perceived to be worse than the Lions, of course. And I think there's a chance the Bills lose 2 in a row. And if that happens, then you're really set. And then we're talking about this team,
Unless
the
we
Chiefs.
want to re-enter the Steelers into the conversation.
Here's why I can't
Their
enter
schedule's kind of a nightmare.
Here's why I won't enter the Steelers. The Chiefs, yes, play them head-to-head, and so you're like, hey, they can make up a game and get a tiebreaker. The reason why I won't do that, Cody, is because the Steelers have the Eagles and the Ravens and the Chiefs. 1, 2, 3. I mean, that's what they have on
Which
the rest
means if
of the
they
schedule.
lose one of them, then Kansas City's going to have to get to 4 losses. And at this point, if we're all predicting, I don't care if you're the biggest Chiefs hater on the planet. Anybody have the Chiefs with 4 losses? 4? No chance. 3 maximum, right? That's what we would say for Kansas City at this point. They lose 2 of the next 3 against Cleveland, the Texans, and somehow lose. And that's 2 of the next 3. And then still lose the final game to the Broncos before the season's over. I think 3 losses is the maximum number you could probably assign to Kansas City and still think that that's where they're going to end up. To get to 4, they're going to have to lose 3 of their final 4 games on a season in which they've only lost 1 so far. And 2 of the opponents are close opponents. You would think 3, all 4. I mean, none of them are opponents you were like, that's definitively a team better than you. Only 2, I think, are 3 are actively in the playoffs. So, I mean, maybe, I guess on that end, this was great news for the Chiefs. Like, if you had asked me last week, are the Chiefs getting the 1 seed? I think my answer might have been no. Because I was having a hard time envisioning, I didn't think the Rams were going to beat the Bills because I didn't think they could kind of put up the offensive performance they just put up. Puka got healthy and they caught fire. And when that team's hot and Matt Stafford's feeling it, and he was making killer throws. Stafford's just feeling it. And when he's feeling it, he looks as good as any quarterback in the league when he's just on one. And so when they lost, I'm like, okay, the Chiefs are going to get the 1 seed, which means the final 3 weeks of the season, the Chiefs play 1 single game from December 15th until the bye, or December 16th until the bye. And that's the Christmas day when you're like, that's pretty good, man. Or December 25th, I'm sorry, till then. Like, that's pretty good. Like, to say 26th through December, what do you think the first week of the playoffs will be? January 10th?
It's
12th,
usually like
13th?
the 12th to 15th, that range.
Yeah. Okay, so December 26th to the 15th, they got 1 game, and that game might not even matter? I mean, it's huge. That loss against the Rams yesterday was huge.
Yeah,
I assume not just because it was a great game. We're all watching it for the same reason.
Absolutely. I mean, at Arrowhead, so before the game started, of course, they're showing it at Arrowhead, and those that were in the bowl, or even if you were out in the concourse lobby area, everybody was cheering the minute that, when anytime the Rams scored, but also when that game went final, because everybody recognizes the implications for this, and knowing the Chiefs had such an early bye, they need the bye more than any other year, you could argue. They're also trying to still get some guys back healthy. This year so far, it's out. You're not worried about Mahomes' ankle getting healthy, but it's about all the other pieces, and you need to be able to in a year three, basically year three where you're trying to go for a three-peat. And all the games that you have played, Chris Jones publicly talking about it, like that tells me they're feeling it. They're a little worn out, and I think that is a huge thing. And now they're absolutely in the driver's seat because the Chiefs can still lose a game now, and be fine. They potentially could have even more wiggle room if the Lions beat the Bills. And so far, anything can happen, but the Detroit Lions absolutely can beat the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they're the favorites to do so, as a matter of fact.
I'm guessing they're a 3 to 5 point favorite, depending
Probably
because they're at home.
The line is probably something like that.
If I look at the way this is why, again, these next couple of games, even more than the ones against better opponents like the Steelers and the Texans. That's why you and I put a heavy emphasis on how important it was to win that Chargers game, and they did.
Lions 1.5.
Oh, that's it. Wow. So they're saying the Bills are still a better team, which is surprising because of the home field advantage. 1.9. They're actually still telling you that if it were a neutral site, they would favor the Bills in that game. Not by much, but pick them essentially is what they're telling you. But when you look at what happened in that game and like what the Chiefs are going forward, the Browns game is actually more important than the Texans game and more important than the Steelers game. Because if you win that game on noon, it just makes it takes the heat off. You can't sleepwalk against the Browns, or you reopen the same door that you just closed.
Yeah, can you get to the Steelers game without a loss? Basically, is honestly what we're playing here.
Because then that game doesn't matter. Who cares if they lose on Christmas?
Can you get to the Steelers game without a loss? Or if the Bills do lose to Detroit, you definitely are in position where now we can talk about Week 18. I honestly think Week 18 is trending where both the Chiefs and Broncos are going to be having their backups in. Like that's where it's looking. Like the Broncos, if the Broncos beat the Colts this Sunday, and they both were on a bye. Yes. If the Broncos win, they basically guarantee themselves a playoff spot because the Colts will be done. So,
although Miami's at their heels too.
Yeah.
But it takes like they're not playing each other, so you can't really like.
Yeah. I think if the Broncos beat the Colts, then the Broncos will not have to play Week 18. They'll be locked in to their seeding, in my opinion. So then the Chiefs could also, both teams, it could be Carson Wentz against who is that? Who's their back? Is it Zach Wilson or whatever? Or who's the other? Not Simeon, but who the hell is that? Zach Wilson's one of the backups. I don't know who the other backup is.
I think he is the backup.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz, Week 18, baby. Let's go.
And look, if that game's meaningless because the amount of time you'll have off between that game, like, because it's crazy, you'll be off from the 26th until their final game, into January against Denver. You actually can't, if you're the Chiefs, fully take that week off. But this is where I think it's different for them than literally another team. In almost every other case, called 95% of the time, I would tell you, you can't take 3 weeks off of football and then expect to just step into a postseason game and be good. The Chiefs might be the only team that I would make the argument that they desperately need this rest. I would almost give them, maybe not the full 3 weeks off, play a quarter, half, treat it like a glorified preseason game. Get loose.
Depends on who it is. We know this.
Out,
there's certain positions you can do that. There's some you can't. Like you can't rest the entire offensive line. You don't have enough bodies to do that. So somebody, you know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah, they have to play, and also they need the reps.
Yeah, well, especially
you guys keep working on it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's some position like you can go ahead and theoretically rest Kareem Hunt and Pacheco and just have Pirine and maybe that's the game Clyde's active or something like that. You can do that. Carson Steele, sorry. You can do that. At offensive line, you can't have both your tackles resting and Creed resting and Tooney resting. You can have Tooney resting. You can have Trey Smith resting or one tackle or something. Like you can't afford to do that. Wide receivers, you can have your top wide receiver D-Hop sit out for a week or whatever, but you can't have everybody. You still have to have 3 or 4 receivers available.
Well, in that case, Hollywood Brown would hypothetically be you would like him to be. Here's the only other problem with sitting it is. Let's say Hollywood Brown's practice window gets updated this week, which seems more in line.
Decent chance. He's got a doctor's appointment this week to get the final clearance.
Yes. And so if he gets cleared, I think the doctor's appointment's on Tuesday. If he gets cleared, his practice window will be open, and then he'll start practicing. I don't think that means he'll play this week. I think it probably means
Christmas Day game.
Yeah, because that's short
I think
week
it's a
Texans.
Christmas Day game.
I kind of agree with you for the same reasons we have pointed out to Chiefs fans a number of times over the year, which is like, that's just the way that it works, right? But so if he's open for that, you actually kind of want him to get not just reps for the team, reps with Mahomes, dude. Like that half of football against the Broncos. Let's say that's a meaningless game because the Bills lost, and let's just say it ends up being meaningless. You kind of need a half where like Hollywood's the only receiver he throws to. Get some reps, run some routes, get some timing. All of those things are important for this. But like that game was massive. That game yesterday against him ended, like for the Rams, was a huge gift to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I'm partially joking when I say this, but also it's a real question about what the Bills can do against an offense that is clicking, which is like, we hear so much like the Chiefs, they didn't look good. Oh, man, are they vulnerable? The Bills just gave up 42 points, or 44 points, I'm sorry.
But Allen looked good. Quarterback play looks
But Allen
different.
looked great. The Eagles, very fortunate to beat Carolina because Xavier Legette dropped what would have been a touchdown for Bryce Young. But when the Chiefs barely won, oh my goodness, the world's ending. So I'm joking because I understand there are some differences, but at the same time, it is like, are we going to talk about how Buffalo's defense might be a problem, or is that just no problem?
For us, because you and I live in a world of reality in which we don't bury the Chiefs' odds just because they look ugly in some games, no. But nationally, no. They'll leave Josh Allen alone because he had 6 touchdowns. The first quarterback ever to have. He's essentially the Tuxton Armo duel of the NFL sometimes. Josh Allen has more impressive games where he does things statistically borderline impossible in games in which he's lost.
Yeah, they didn't lose because of him, obviously.
No,
he was
they
great,
didn't lose way more games in which he is incredible than they should. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it goes back to the overarching, which is like, at some point, wins still are the most important thing. When did we forget that? Whether we're talking college football evaluating teams or whether we're talking about NFL teams, baseball, at some point, winning is the grand prize. Like, that's the grand prize. Like, who wins more games than everybody else? That's ultimately how this is decided. The champion is decided. So all of a sudden, like, well, I'd rather the 9-win team, actually. Like, the 9-win team, but they look better in a few of those. They won 9 games, but in 3 of them, they look dominant. So they're better than the team that's 12-1. How stupid is that?
I think a lot of it comes down to, like, a simple thing that I would ask anybody. Okay, so 913-586-7965. This is the problem people have with the Chiefs now nationally. They didn't used to, and they used to get all the credit that they probably properly deserved during that run. Do you like watching Chiefs games? Like, are they enjoyable from a a football watching perspective?
Yes, I enjoyed myself last night at the game.
I'm starting to, like, it's not fun to watch. Does that make sense? Like, I watched that Bills-Rams game. I'm like, this is fun. Look at these two slinging it. Balls down the field. And I'm watching Chiefs games. I'm like, damn it. It's starting to border on boring.
Oh, it wasn't boring last night. That wasn't boring.
It was 3-0 with like 8 minutes in the second quarter. You kidding me?
I don't think it was a boring game.
Oh, man.
If you were at the game, it wasn't boring.
You were at the game, so maybe that game was boring as hell, man. I'll just be honest. Not bad. Like, not boring at the end. Super fun at the end. And do I know the Chiefs are going to win at the end? Of course I do. They have become a boring team to watch.
They've won 3 games on last-second kicks. Like, that can't be boring.
This is like the argument people have been trying to make for Big Ten basketball for my entire life. 43-41 is not an interesting sport.
Yeah, this is a
I'm
team.
glad it was close at the end. But
yeah, I'm sorry. A season where someone's going for a three-peat just can't be boring. It can't be. Like watching your
regular season game for me can't
watching
your
hometown team go for a three-peat when they're 12-1. That can't be boring. If that's boring to you, then boy, oh boy, are we spoiled. Holy crap.
Oh, I'm never arguing the other end of that. The spoiled part, absolutely. I'm not here to like I told the people the other day, like, don't waste your money on AFC Championship gear because they've done that 9 times in a row. Do you think?
I hear you though. Like, of course, if the Chiefs were winning 38-17, would that be more enjoyable? I sure. Like, offense points are fun. We love points.
Yeah.
But overall, like this team winning 10 one-score games this year, like. That's drama. That's stressful.
It's boring until I'll give you until the final 4 minutes of the game. I'm totally
every offensive possession feels so massive. Every defensive possession feels so massive because you know it's going to be a one-score game.
It's going to come down to
it's stressful, but that's entertaining to me. Everybody has a different view, of course, on it, but that's entertaining to me. We're obviously still waiting Andy Reid's press conference. This is why we play the game here on Mondays now. When will he be at the podium? Those of you that picked a time prior to 12:23, I'm sorry, you're not going to win a pizza.
My time's still alive.
Your time is.
Still live for 103. I'm still living.
We obviously have timestamps on your text, so some of you are texting and right this second. You're not going to win.
Late.
Sorry.
So you had to get it in before noon.
Yeah. Somebody will win a pizza. Anybody else?
You're sitting it in now. Anybody else? A much better chance.
Text in like 12:50.
I don't know.
Like last
there were
week.
a lot of people in the 12:15 range. So
yeah.
The latest one I see at 12:43. I see at 12:43. That might be in play.
Is this we never announced? Is this Price is Right rules or just closest?
Closest.
Here's a 12:37.
You can go over. Just closest.
Here's a 12:33. So there's some time still alive.
I think you can go over.
I think you can go over. We didn't say Price is Right.
I would say 80% of you are eliminated already.
Yeah, we're already done.
Because a lot of 12:17s, a lot of 12:20s. Yeah, we'll
peel
see.
behind the curtain. Like
we don't know.
We used to make the mistake of stalling. I don't know. What are they talking about exactly? We don't stall anymore. We got content planned for when Andy Reid's not available.
And we decided to have some fun with it along the way. If they're going to be a half hour late, we might as well let you guys win something out of it and joke around about it. So that's what we're going to do.
That feels like the best way to do it.
Up next, though, I do want to talk a little bit about the offensive line because we were all excited to see maybe what DJ Humphries looked like. He gets hurt in the game. There were plenty of moments where it wasn't good. What do we think now about this O-line? Plus the random question of the day and maybe Andy Reid next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This NFL Monday Night Football FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. That's tonight, by the way. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost on the Bengals versus Cowboys Monday Night Football game. That means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass bet by 30% and take home even more winnings during tonight's Bengals-Cowboys game. Bet on over-unders, spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you'll get paid instantly. So you don't wait to cash in your money, and don't wait to download America's #1 sportsbook by visiting FanDuel.com/Alex to take advantage of a profit boost today. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Men, we hear it all the time. A man comes in to get his erectile dysfunction treated, and very soon thereafter, he tells us that his relationship is renewed. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and you should know that ED doesn't just affect you, it also often affects your partner. They can feel undesired, unwanted, they may even feel like you don't love them anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we've successfully treated thousands of men for ED with protocols that have success rates well over 90%, which means if you're like most men, we can get you back to the guy you used to be. You could even last up to an hour or more and find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and give your partner the gift of renewed love. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Xfinity here. How can we help? Yeah, there are so many football games streaming this season. Can Xfinity Internet handle it? Oh, we know the game is only live once, so we built a network with all-pro speeds and low lag so you don't miss a snap. So I can yell, "He's open!" when he's actually open? Yeah, but the quarterback still can't hear you.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and TV and enjoy instant access to your favorite live sports with the Xfinity Stream app. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Streaming content limited to the U.S. Programming subject to change.
Man, you need to look great for holiday events. Let Peter's Clothiers give you the perfect fit you're looking for. From jackets to suits to trousers and more, in sizes to fit every man. PetersClothiers.com or stop in today at 124th and State Line.
This football season, the best place to watch the game is Johnny's Tavern. Tons of TVs, tons of fans, and cold Yingling beer. You could win big. Scan the QR code at any Johnny's Tavern to enter for a chance to win a tailgate prize pack and the grand prize. All thanks to you, Yingling. Win a hosted party at the Johnny's Tavern of your choice. Each location will have a winner, so don't miss out. Grab your friends, grab a Yingling, and get in on the action. Only at Johnny's Tavern in partnership with 96 96.5 The Fan, your home for football, fun, and Yingling. Must be 21 plus to enter.
It's winter clearance time at Volkswagen Lee Summit. Get up to $5,000 off the 24 Jetta, 24 Taos, and 24 Tiguan, and up to $8,000 off the 24 Atlas and Atlas Crossport. Hurry in before we sell out of 24s. Visit VWLeeSummit.com.
Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Pizza just goes better with Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Pizza. Thank you.
But don't take our word for it. In fact, don't take any words for it. Crispy and cheesy, paired with delicious and refreshing. My mouth is watering already. Ooh, too high. Yeah, we've all been there. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
All right, we're back here on Cody and Gold. It is time to head out to Andy Reid's press conference, sponsored by Arvest Bank, making banking easier for customers for more than 60 years. Arvest Bank, proud to serve Cheese Kingdom. Here's Andy Reid exclusively on 96.5 The Fan.
Along with some good team efforts. I thought defensively we really did a great job the first half, and then we're able to finish that up the second half. We got a couple things we got to clean up there, just with some of the throw game. So, but we'll get that cleaned up, and then offensively, I thought we did some good things. We got a few things there that we've got to take care of, but that I have a lot of respect for that defense, and that quarterback that they have is also a heck of a player. So, and I think Jim's doing a nice job with that whole group. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
We'll go first to Blair Kirkhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Thanks, Kelsey. Andy, I just wanted to know what went into having Justin Reed do the kickoffs.
Just his length of kickoffs, the ability to kick it into the end zone there consistently. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it obviously help to have a good tackler on the team as well, especially for a team that likes to return kicks?
Yeah, that doesn't hurt for sure. So, but initially it was the length. He's got a strong leg, and we thought maybe he could put it back there in the end zone.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Matt Derrick. Matt?
Hey, Coach, I know you don't have any more information on new information on injuries, but Josh Williams also left the game last night. Any update on his status?
Yeah, I don't have that for you either. He did come in feeling better today, but we've just got to get the evaluation. I'll meet with Rick here after we're done and see where we're at with all that.
And also, there's a report that you're having an old friend, Steven Nelson, coming in for a visit today. What do you remember about Steven, and what kind of a player was he, and how do you feel like he could help you out if he came back?
Yeah, he was a good player when he was here. He came out of Oregon State with the ability to return and play corner, and then he developed into a starting corner in the league, and he's had a nice career for the last how many years, and so it was the ability to add a little depth to that spot, and we'll just see how things work out, see kind of where he's at today, and but he would be a welcomed addition if it all works out.
We'll go next to Pete Sweeney. Pete?
Hey, Coach, outsider perspective here, obviously, but it seemed like last night the quicker developing plays and certainly some of the up-tempo stuff was really working for you guys. Is that viable for a game-long situation, or what goes into the game theory when you see something like that?
Yeah, no, that's a viable thought. We've done that in the past on different occasions, and we thought we had some good stuff in there that we could use. Had a couple nice long drives, and ended up taking the last almost 5 minutes and controlling the football for the win. So, but we definitely, to answer your question, we definitely think of those things for sure. Yeah, yeah. Is that a brown sweatshirt you're wearing?
Syracuse orange.
Oh, okay. Good.
Don't worry, no.
All right.
We'll go next to Adam Teicher. Adam.
Hey, Andy. I wanted to ask you about something you said about Matthew Wright after the game last night. You said something like he never thinks of himself as a third string guy. Can you elaborate on that? What you meant by that? How you see that he doesn't see himself as a third string guy?
Yeah, I think he's got a quiet confidence about him, and I think he realizes that he's a legitimate kicker. At least that's a persona that he presents to everybody. And I think all the guys on the team have confidence in him. So we're not sitting there going, "Hey, listen, we've got some guy that has never done this before and doesn't have a track record with us." He comes in and he just goes, "Okay, line me up and let's go."
We'll go last to Todd Lebo. Todd?
I've got a couple of things here if I could. First up, Coach, I know we talked to you after the games, and it's usually like, right afterwards, and you haven't processed every single thing that's happened so far, but have you had a moment to reflect on the number of kind of different ways you guys have won games this year near the end, and how maybe unusual it is? You've seen a lot of football over the years to kind of have these things kind of roll up one after the other like this.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a unique year. They're all unique. This one's unique from the standpoint that we've had a lot of close games. And we've been able to battle through some things to get these victories. And I'm sure we'll continue to do that. One of the things I came out of training camp with was that kind of senior leadership, was mentally tough guys. And I think some of that's carried over to the newer additions, and they see how we do things, and they try to work themselves into it. And yeah, we don't have as many reps with the guys, but they kind of take on that personality, and they work through it the best they can.
And on a couple of your senior leaders, we asked about this one last night, the play where Patrick rolled out at the end. When you went back and re-examined that further, I mean, the little sense that they have between them, we've talked about this a bunch over the years, is it still kind of baffle you that they can get on that same page and see and feel the same thing?
Yeah, they've got a lot of trust in each other, and they challenge each other all the time, and and that's a positive. And then they're both great competitors, but most of all, they have that feel. They have a feel for one another, and that comes probably with a little bit of the friendship, a little bit of working together, and a lot of reps in there with one another. So, yeah.
Thanks, Coach. That's all.
All right, so that was Andy Reid exclusively here on a Monday on 96.5 The Fan, and is sponsored by Arvest Bank. We're proud to serve Chiefs Kingdom. Real quick, just on the injury front, you heard him mention DJ Humphries. He said it is a hamstring injury, feeling a little bit better this morning, but he is still due for an MRI. Yeah, it's early in the week, but
I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, I was going to say
I don't think he's going to play. I think you're right back to Wanye Morris.
You hear that, and you're like, okay, that doesn't sound like a guy they're going to push to play on Sunday. They don't need. They don't need to push him for Sunday. That's honestly the reality of the situation as well. If they still think he's their longer term solution this year, like why? There's no reason to rest him or to rush him back. Might as well rest him. It just stinks. It's coming off right after one game, almost a full game, in his return, 11.5 months, and we can start right there. We were going to talk about the offensive line anyway, because I don't think anybody feels any better about the O-line. I don't feel worse than I did before the game.
I feel the same at the moment.
It's about the same.
Which is not a good feeling.
But I'll say this. Let's hope this is a short-term hamstring injury. If we find out that it's something more serious and he's like out weeks and weeks, then I feel worse because, of course, we've all banked on some of the improvement at left tackle being because of Humphreys. We know what the alternative is. It's Wanya Morris, or it's weakening your left guard position and moving Joe Thuney out to left tackle. And Andy's been reluctant to do that other than break glass in case of emergency in-game kind of stuff. And they didn't even do that this week. They did it the week before.
I was a little surprised. I kind of thought they'd go to Thuney. But.
So that is crucial to how you feel about the O-line. Is Humphreys out long-term, or is it a 1 week out or not out at all kind of thing?
Well, but the problem is the same thing as we just talked about Hollywood Brown, which is, let's say he doesn't play this week. Okay, well, it's an even shorter week before they come back. Now, it's only 1 day, but then even, like after that, then the whole other thing.
Yeah, but the shorter week doesn't matter if a guy's already not playing. Like, the shorter week matters if you got hurt and then you're asked to come back short. Like, if you're missing all this week and then next week is short, he's still, you add them two together and there's still a pretty considerable amount of time. I get what you're saying.
But it's like, they get progressively shorter, I guess, is the argument.
It really hurts you if, someone gets hurt on Sunday in Cleveland. Then the chances of that person coming back are really slim because they're playing this Saturday.
Yeah, and then the Thursday right after that, which means you wouldn't rush him to the Saturday just to get him back before, or Wednesday, sorry, not even Thursday. So it's like you run into these timelines. Look, the offensive line is still their single biggest problem. Yep. It is where they are the worst on the team. Patrick Mahomes has been sacked 24 times in the last 7 games. I honestly think he made the decision to, instead of throw interceptions, to take sacks. I think when you look at the stats that we gave earlier from, it doesn't matter whose tweet, when you look at the stats of what he did in the early part of the season versus now, I think you could boil it down to, at some point, he had to sit in a meeting room and they're like, you know what, man, it's better if you just get clocked than we give the ball to the other team, and we're just going to have to accept that about our offensive line. If they lose a playoff game, it's probably because their offensive line got torched.
Yeah, I mean, when we were discussing the big, I think the secondary is the biggest issue, but that was with the thought that DJ Humphreys is playing. And it's not like he was amazing last night, even when he was playing. But I'm just saying that if DJ Humphreys is not available and it's got to be Wanya or Joe Thuney, then yes, it's the number one concern I have. I thought that's an area they can correct. If they can't, then of course it becomes that. Otherwise, it's still the secondary. And we just saw what they had issue with in terms of in middle of the field. Deep routes were a problem for Brian Cook, asking safeties to cover. Joshua Williams is a little hurt as well. I mean, all that definitely comes into play. Now, someone on the text line was asking 913-586-7965, what was the official time for Andy's presser? Basically, right around 12:30, right at 12:30. So we texted a winner. We had someone within 2 minutes or so.
Kudos to you for correctly identifying. I was way off. I was way too much of a hater.
What was the time you had?
You were too optimistic.
I said 12:11, also way off.
Oh, okay. I was 12:09, 12:11.
You guys were way too optimistic.
Hang on,
I know I was way over.
We were closer.
You were way too optimistic.
We were definitely closer than yours.
But your times had no chance to succeed. It was always going to be after those times.
Was never happening either. There's no way.
It's never going to be those two times. It was more likely to be 107 than 1207.
What you just described, though, is the person that bets the under in the game. Or excuse me, the under in the game, and it's like, or the over, I'm sorry. And you're like, well, technically I haven't lost yet. I mean, they need 30 more points in 5 minutes, but I haven't lost yet.
No, I don't feel that. I'm definitely not that. I'm just saying it was never going to be 12-10. I do say the other thing that stands out is, I do think Andy, if he wants to, later as he reflects on this season, when it's over, I don't know, hopefully holding up his third straight Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
Reflecting on the absurdity of the styles of win that this team has. Not the loser list that exists that are like Isaiah Likely's toe, and they called a penalty on Cincinnati. Things that were real, and they did penalize the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But they have won in in a unique way, I would say 10 times this year. Stop somebody on 4th down against Atlanta. Isaiah Likely's toe is out. A blocked kick, a kick that went off of the upright to go in. And there are a million others if you'd like me to keep going. And so this year has been this story of how can they win in spite of. The offensive line kind of feels like it's playing into that. They're going to have to figure out a way to win in spite of a below average offensive line. And you know what will help them do that? Patrick Mahomes. Because to this point, they've had a bad offensive line the entire year. At no point this year has it been good. What's their record?
Yeah, 12-1.
Has it stopped them from winning?
Patrick Mahomes is not winning MVP or anything, but the stat you just referenced a little while ago and then this game yesterday are prime examples why if someone was trying to make a case still somehow, that would be it, of course, right? Where is this team without him? Most valuable? They clearly would not be anywhere near. I mean, honestly, what is this team without him this year? 7-win team? 8-win team?
Okay, so Andy's still the coach and everything else is the same, but it's Carson Wentz?
Yep.
Or it's like a league average
No, it's Carson Wentz. I think they're an 8-win team. 8-win team.
6-7.
Yeah.
Like they're
I mean,
like
that's your most valuable.
They're like teasing with the 7 seed in the
7-5, 7-6.
Yeah, I mean that's your argument for Mahomes MVP. And by the way, again, he's not going to win MVP. I'm just saying, like, if we're truly like oversimplifying what the meaning of
yesterday, even in the loss,
meaning what the award, what the meaning of the award is, like that would be it. But no, I mean, I've never, not once this year have I tried to make a case Mahomes MVP. I told you this was not a year I would have bet him to win MVP anyway. When
right
we did our
now,
betting show.
as of this morning, by the way, Josh Allen is minus 400. Saquon Barkley second at plus 400. Patrick Mahomes is plus 3,500.
Yeah, it's gotten even worse actually in the last 24 hours. So
it's actually it's gotten further. You know who's gone up though? Andy Reid, Coach of the Year, has actually been getting close.
Because if they finish,
it's getting closer to the real thing.
Yeah, he's still like what 17-1.
No, he's like 4-1, 5-1. I think.
No way. I mean, in full disclosure, I haven't checked. No way.
Where is he at then in the list
Really?
compared to others then?
Hold
when
on.
you look it up.
Let me look up the odds again.
That's a huge. Cody was 28-1 a week ago.
Hold on. Let me pull it. Let me pull it back up. Let me go to the.
I'm just stunned. Is all. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just like, what?
Let me go to.
That's
the,
a huge shift. I have it in front of me. You want it?
Yeah.
He is still 25-1.
Is he really? I thought he was closer to that.
No, I wasn't saying you were wrong. I hadn't checked. I'm like, what the hell happened? Is basically what I was going to say. Like, holy crap! No,
this was okay. I was like, I don't know. I haven't looked. I just thought it was way closer.
He's
still
fallen
25-1.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about this a ton from a Coach of the Year angle, but Dan Campbell winning on Thursday night in the fashion he did, and all, it's Dan Campbell or it's Mike Tomlin as far as I'm concerned. Like that's
I'm not saying. You know what's funny is like I would argue that those two guys deserve it just as much as Andy Reid versus some other years where I feel like they've got the wrong man for the job.
But you're right. People don't nationally want to have the conversation about Andy, but you look at
like how's he worse than Sean McDermott or Matt LaFleur?
Yeah, like we all know it's an expectation award and it's ridiculous, but people don't want to have the conversation nationally. You can definitely make the case for Andy. I'm just basing off of like we know how this awards market goes and like he's not going to win it. But we know the case is, of course, he's lost his top 2 receivers this year. He's lost his number 1 running back at one point. He's lost 2 tackles. They've lost their number 2 corner. They've lost, you know what I mean? Like we can just go down the line.
Sure.
I mean, there's all the, and they won the AFC West already. They're going to finish as the 1 seed, I believe. Like there's a strong case for him.
That's why Dan Campbell doesn't make any sense to me. Like if you said Tomlin or O'Connell or Peyton or Harbaugh, they actually make more sense based on all the arguments you're making.
But it's an overachieving award is what it is.
But Dan Campbell didn't overachieve. Everyone thought they were going to be one of the best teams in the NFC. They were one of the best teams in the NFL last year.
Yeah, but they haven't won a Super Bowl. This is where the award. This is where
the franchise's history.
This is where the award stinks because I hear you, but if you've accomplished less in the league and you have a good year, you're more likely to win the award. That's just like it's crazy. I mean, it's why Belichick only won it twice in his career, right? Because Belichick probably should have won it 4 or 5 times. He didn't.
Yeah.
And he should have already won it 2 or 3 times. He's not going to.
No, he won't.
The only way this year
won it once?
Once
or twice?
Once, I think. Isn't that right?
I think the year he went 15-1 or whatever.
For him to win it this year would have. The problem is they ran into a year in which Mike Tomlin's having an unbelievable overachieving year. Dan Campbell is going to be
Kevin O'Connell too.
You know, Kevin O'Connell with Sam Darnold. Andy won it.
But again,
once in 2002. Wow.
But again,
2002 been a long time.
But again, the issue is not that Andy Reid doesn't win it because typically, but like Dan Campbell, in my opinion, is playing with the exact same. Like they were both 2 of the top 3 Super Bowl favorites in the year.
One coach is going off a back-to-back championship.
They both have. What? But if it's a yearly award, it's not what they did the previous years is not relative.
You and I are both talking about the hypocrisy. You and I are both talking about the hypocrisy of the award. I'm with you. I'm just saying, like it's very easy to see why it's this way. Though.
I actually think they're getting it simply because the Lions are the biggest loser franchise in NFL history. I think being a franchise that has no titles, no history of winning,
they also have been the best. Like if
they
we're
have
truly
been the best team.
they have been the best team.
Actually, that's
clearly,
fair. That's fair. But the difference is not like Dan Campbell's winning the award and Andy
No.
Reid's second. The difference
I
is
know.
Dan Campbell is winning the award right now, and Andy Reid is 10th.
Right. No, I hear you. I think the other part is the fact that Dan Campbell is going against the trend and is maybe carving a new path for coaches to be more comfortable about being aggressive in the nature he is. Nobody goes for four downs more like than he is. So it's like it's just crazy. Crazy.
No, I mean, again, I've got nothing against him winning the award. I'm just saying, like, the discrepancies between the two is kind of absurd.
It should be a closer conversation. I'm with you, but like I have no Dan Campbell, Mike Tomlin, Kevin O'Connell, any of those guys win it. I have no problem. Like I have no problem with them winning.
Like, I'm gonna look back at this. So, like, we could rank them out even if you wanted. Like, it'd be too much of an exercise. But like, if you forced me to, right? And we all sat here and we rank Andy. And like, look, this is a partial grade, admittedly. But if I made you rank out the best coaching job you think Andy Reid did in all of his years here in Kansas City, and I made you rank them 1 through 10. Has he been here 10 years? Close to it. So 1 through 10, Gold, I made you rank out Andy Reid's most successful coaching jobs by year. I mean, this has got to be top 3, doesn't it? Look at all the people he's without, and there's still a one-loss team with a chance at the number 1 seed and everything else in between. Like last year also stood out, right? Because they did lose players, and they had to figure out a way to win, even though there was no wide receivers and all this other nonsense that was in their way.
Again, not wrong. Just it's why Michael Jordan should have won MVP 20 straight years, or 15 straight years.
LeBron definitely should have. The stats he put up there for a while.
It's the same thing. I mean, what we call voter fatigue or whatever. I mean, Belichick should have 6 or 7 of them. Andy should have 5 of them by now. Talking about Coach of the Year awards. Yeah, Michael Jordan should have been MVP way more than he was, and he was MVP. You know what I mean? Like LeBron, this is just, unfortunately, it sucks. This is also why the awards market is actually kind of fun to bet, because it's so open, and there's not like, there's certain criteria, but also it's
normal years,
open.
Kevin O'Connell's the winner. If Dan Campbell has one more loss, I think Kevin O'Connell's the
chance.
winner. Does that make sense? Because he has his team at 11 wins. O'Connell's got him at 11 wins, and Darnold's balling out yesterday.
Don't sleep on Mike Tomlin for this award stuff. If they run the table, like they're playing the Eagles and Ravens the next 2 weeks. If they
And then the Chiefs.
like if they somehow ran the table, I don't think they will. But if they did, tell me he's not Coach of the Year.
I will say one thing worth monitoring, not for this week, but as the time goes on, George Pickens, according to Brooke Pryor, was officially diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring sprain, and says that she would not be surprised if they
2 weeks to get ready.
They said that they would not be surprised if they took it real easy or super careful over the next 3 weeks about whether or not he'll get on. There's a chance Pickens won't even be available for that Christmas Day game. I don't know. I'm just saying there's a chance.
Yeah. They know they're a playoff team and they're probably going to win the division, so why push it?
But that's another problem with them. How are they winning the next 3 games without their number 1 weapon?
It's going to be Van Jefferson as wide receiver.
But they got
1
real
for them.
opponents, not the Browns.
And Mike Williams.
Yeah.
You think I can dig up the old No Chance song against the Browns? That's what I feel like.
No chance.
I had a playoff song for them once, but it got
Big
deleted
Ben.
in the mass purge. I don't know if I've
It was
got
a
it
Big
up.
Ben song. Right? It was a Big Ben song.
No. The No Chance one was the one that sounded like it was like funk. I got no chance.
Oh, there was a Big Ben playoff song.
Yes, that was the suckiest. That one did not go over well. The Browns one was well received. You don't remember because it's been way too long. It got lost in the purge.
I remember the song. It had a what kind of vibe? What's the artist I'm thinking of? Yeah, but like a
James Brown
vibe. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
That's fair.
All right, let's get to it.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. On the text line, 913-586-7965. You can follow us over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all the things in between. Simple question today based on the game tonight. As you know, it's a loser of a game. The Cincinnati Bengals 4-8.
Oh, that's why it's a loser
5-8.
game.
It's
because Cincinnati's playing.
Terrible.
Thanks for throwing that in there.
I'll be honest, Drew. I was a little surprised to look at the standings today to find out that Cincinnati has less wins than Dallas. How long has Dak Prescott been out? Joe Burrow's been healthy the whole year. Doesn't matter. The question I have for you today is very simple. Tonight, over on ESPN, they will have the Simpson broadcast run by Mina Kimes and others. Fun idea, fun concept they continue to do to try to bring people. The question is, what theme game do you want next? Now, here's the ones we already know. They've already done SpongeBob. They've already done Nickelodeon. They're doing Madden.
They've done Toy Story.
They've done Toy Story. So the question I just have for you is, which one do you want next?
Yeah, the NBA's doing Mickey Mouse, aren't they? Too.
Yeah, they're doing Mickey Mouse.
NBA's doing a Mickey Mouse one.
I kind of want them to go like they keep doing kid ones. I want them to do a theme broadcast that is like dark. Like, you know what? I want like Ozark, but like the theme,
cartoons.
Like, you want to be like you want Pennywise scoring a touchdown.
Yeah,
or
give a horror movie one.
Jeez.
Just all I'm saying is like Get one for the adults in there. If you're doing the alt broadcast, it's kind of silly.
The adult one is the game itself, the actual broadcast. That's the adult. That's the adult one. That's the one.
true.
Yeah.
Come on, you trying to tell me that that the defender trying to chase from behind to tackle the guy, but he's Michael Myers with a knife, isn't funny? That's not funny.
I hear you. As far as another if we're just basically thinking animated. Mickey Mouse actually on NBA. I'm kind of curious how that one goes down.
Have Goofy doing a windmill or something like that. That'd be fun.
I mean, the Mickey Mouse one's pretty
I still think
classic.
Monsters Inc. would be
You
fun.
want an old kid? Monsters Inc. I still
Monsters
think
Inc. is a good answer.
Do you still want you want a childhood? You want Hey Arnold?
Give me Rugrats or something.
Rugrats.
Rugrats.
Tommy Pickles.
Yeah.
Are there enough characters in Rugrats to fill out an entire broadcast?
Angelica's out there,
Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know.
I mean, in this case, Chucky's the kicker. I mean, if we're playing this
Someone
out.
says go South Park, Cody. There you go. Is that good enough
Well,
for
that's
you?
like the cartoon, but also the adult theme. I mean, you're certainly getting that.
That would be.
I would
there's
also,
a lot of ways that
I'll
one
be
could
honest.
go.
I would also accept the Muppets. I don't know how you execute it, but give me a Muppets themed NFL broadcast. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm surprised they haven't done. I don't need a Sesame Street one though, but I'm surprised they actually haven't done that. That seems like that's coming.
Honestly, that feels
Don't
like
you
it would-
think?
ABC?
Maybe.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when you're trying to get a kid into football, 2. Could you imagine the count doing the first down marker? How many yards till they get the first? 1,
Yeah,
2,
there you go.
3rd and 3.
I think we're gonna see.
Keeps going down the list.
I think we're gonna see a Sesame Street one before it's over.
Someone says the Muppets and Muppet Babies. They want both,
Babies?
Anytime somebody's asking the ref for a flag,
This
man,
is a
immediate
throwback.
Muppet Baby.
I haven't heard this one in a while. Wild Thornberries. That's a throwback. And
I haven't watched that one. I think I was
a
just
fun
outside
one.
my window.
Wild Thornberries, Rocket Power, Cat Dog. Oh, those were great. Those were great.
Cat
back in
Dog
the
is
day.
a good
So
one.
somebody said Boondocks. That'd be
Okay.
The
be good.
Boondocks? That's
Finding
again. That's,
Nemo. I'm playing underwater football.
that would be something.
Huh. Underwater football. Finding Nemo.
like fish lined up. Man, I just like the amount of work they put into these all broadcasts.
That's why they couldn't
to try
flex
to get
this
it
crappy
in.
game tonight, because they had all the work done for The Simpsons.
So we'll have to go over these results later. This is just a funny thing to mention now. So my brother teaches high school, and as part of like a senior project they have to do like service stuff. And so they asked if they could partner with us in a way to try to like, hey, we're young people. What questions do you have for young future listeners of this? And so I simply asked the question, how do we attract younger listeners as time goes on? And what kind of things do they look for their source of entertainment? Some of the ideas for improving this station, 96.5 The Fan, have included just getting Taylor Swift on the show, which I love.
Okay, well, yes.
Someone also had suggested we should just switch to Christmas music. Just throw in the bag. Drew, just play Christmas music the rest of the way and drive ourselves to the 25th.
Just be done with it, huh?
Just forget this sports
Were they
radio
a real
thing.
suggestion? How old? They're high school kids, and that was their suggestion was to have Taylor Swift on the show.
Yeah, they asked what what
I
would
mean,
it entail?
sure. I agree.
I don't even think if I spent
we
the next
promoted
3
and knew-
years of my life.
If we promoted and could actually say she was coming on the show, yes, we would have a ton of new listeners that day. I don't discount that at all. But let's just be real, that's never happening.
If I dedicated 2 years of my life, I still don't think I could get it done.
No.
If all I did for the next 2 years in the shows, I contributed nothing to it, but tried to get Taylor Swift on the show once, I'd fail. Like it wouldn't happen.
If you did actually if we got her on, what would we? Is there?
What would we talk about? Everything.
No. I mean, is there anything that we?
She'd have to hang up, dude. I wouldn't like the interview would not just end. She would have to be like, guys, I gotta get going. It's the only time.
We'd get the cliche. You have 5 minutes, and you try to stretch that 5 as long as you can.
She'd have to hang up. Her PR guy would have to hang up. I'm not clicking that because we're never getting them again.
She just wrapped up her tour last night.
Yeah.
The tour is over.
They did
On
mention
her
that. They did mention that during the game.
1,989th day
What did they
since
say,
she
Drew?
remastered.
They mentioned that during the game. Tirico said, by the way, for those who are wondering if Taylor Swift is here, she's finishing up her tour in Vancouver. He made sure to announce that to everybody.
All right, guys. Up next, 1 o'clock hour. We'll get to the audio fun bag from the weekend and the same old story with one part of this football team, and it's not just how they're winning. That's next.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99. In-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door if it isn't ready. Let Overhead Door Company of Kansas City come out and perform their 14-point tune-up on the garage door and 12-point tune-up on the opener. One price covers 3 garage doors and openers. The work is guaranteed. Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Trusted here since 1927. Call now to schedule your garage door tune-up, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at OHDKC.com. OHDKC.com.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product or promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
I can't wait to watch the Chiefs go up and down the field and score a ton of points this year. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn fuel saver discounts equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, I save 42 cents a gallon when I spend $42. The more we score, the more I save, only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
This NFL Monday Night Football, FanDuel wants you to win even bigger. Right now, all customers can get a 30% catch-a-pass profit boost on Bengals vs. Cowboys Monday night. That means you can boost your next NFL catch-a-pass bet by 30% and take home even more winnings during the Bengals-Cowboys game. Bet on over-unders, spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, if you win, you'll get paid instantly. So don't wait. Download America's #1 sportsbook by visiting FanDuel.com/610Bob to take advantage of the profit boost today. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas, opt-in required. Max wager amount applies. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've had more than our fair share of hail and wind this year. Are you playing Roofer Roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR & Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com? Just plug in your address and we'll pull a multi-year storm report. You'll know exactly what your roof has been put through and if you even need an inspection. If you do, no one is more thorough and works better with your insurance than locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. And if you need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime warranty on workmanship. Don't play Roofer Roulette with your home. Visit jrstormcheck.com and remember,
you're always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrstormcheck.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Listen to the Chiefs and Browns game on Sunday with pregame starting at 9, kickoff at noon with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the
Hey, those high schoolers, man.
Snow is glistening.
You think this is what they want, huh?
That's what at least one group wants.
This is what the high school.
They want more Christmas music.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're shooting already for like the. I think we're trying to get to the 20 plus. I don't know if we're looking for the 17 and 18. That's a little young.
Not shocking. High school people would also like more high school football coverage. So,
Yeah.
Drew, you're our official high school football correspondent moving forward. So,
Drew,
start learning about the locals.
What do you think about that?
I need to go and talk to Binkley for about an hour and a half, and I will learn everything.
Yeah, dude, you'll be solid.
Bink will get me ready. Bink will get me ready.
We'll teach you. Wait, is high school football season done? Are
They
they still like playoffs
state
going?
championships just
In
happened.
Indiana,
I
it's
believe.
done. I know that.
Yeah, I believe state championships
Just happened. Okay.
I believe so. College hoops or high school hoops though. Some good high school teams this year in the area. There really are.
I think Carrington was in an Oak Park game.
I believe
over
so.
the weekend.
I believe that's right. I believe that's accurate.
Is what I I believe I saw like an Instagram post.
He wasn't expecting to see good basketball elsewhere, but he did this weekend.
I don't know if you guys have gone, but has there been anybody that's so good where like you don't have any association, but you're like, I need to go and watch this person play because they might be.
That's
like
never
this
been
good.
me, but I get it. Like there's some unbelievable talent right now in high school hoops in the area, but for
It had
me,
to be like a
yeah.
LeBron level player locally for me to like.
Otherwise, yeah, it's really just not my thing. Otherwise,
Because I remember
as my nephews get older, and eventually if they happen to be playing or something, then that's a whole different story, of course.
Growing up in Indianapolis, Indiana, the biggest Mike Conley and Greg Oden both played on the same team in high school, and they would sell. They'd have like 10,000 people going to their it would be standing room only. Like you had to go see them play because they were so good.
Man, poor Greg Oden. I'll always just think about how badly they messed up that pick. He's Sam Bowie of my generation.
Yeah.
I wasn't like remembering when they took him instead of Michael Jordan. I wasn't old enough to for that to process. I remember them taking Greg Oden instead of Durant.
Yeah. No, that was a huge thing at the time. By the way, shout out. Someone said, Platte County won Class 5A state championship Saturday. Someone said St. Thomas and Gardner. No, it's Aquinas, I assume. And Gardner are state champs on the Kansas side. So there you go. Someone says, what is this? Missouri High School Athletic Association activity is forced to remove broadcaster during halftime.
Wait, excuse me?
Of Class 6
Well, I haven't
championship.
done that for a trash of the day if I knew.
Is that true? Someone needs to look that one up for us. I don't know if that's true or not. That's a wild story.
That's crazy.
For real?
I don't know. That's what someone texted in. But
MSHSAA apologizes for halftime color analyst commentary.
What did he say?
Poll for bias, according to Awful Announcing.
For bias?
Huh. Yeah, that's what it says on Awful Announcing.
While Thomas's commentary drew criticism for perceived bias, some supporters argue that it was a more critical analysis of the game could enhance viewers'
So they pulled a mid-broadcast? How bad was this to get pulled mid-broadcast?
I mean, they had a Missouri grad on the MUKU game. They
did.
You know, what are we doing
Tom
here?
Hart was calling the game. He was born in Columbia, and he's a Missouri grad. But you're telling me that this high school game was
Apparently, there were complaints from fans of Nixa alleging bias.
Nixa, Missouri. Isn't that the city that in Born Supremacy and Born Identity they claim that Matt Damon is from, right?
Okay, yeah, the Jason Bourne's from. Yep.
Yeah,
correct.
You know what I mean. Jason Bourne. Yeah. I think they say the ID, the passport, I think says Nixa, Missouri.
Can I say?
Yeah. Anyway.
Getting on to a state-run football website to complain bias about a broadcast. You're better than that. This is unnecessary behavior.
How many people are
I don't think I don't like the way.
off?
That'd be like me calling NBC because I didn't like Collinsworth keep talking about Jawan Taylor.
You should.
Just keep that to yourself. I'm not calling NBC. Be like, get Collinsworth's ass.
You know
out of
how
here.
this is, though. There's always something. Let's be honest. We've worked in radio long enough. There's at some point in your career, there's been somebody that's emailed the boss, didn't like something we said on the show or whatever. Like that's happened. That happens in radio. So you're like, hey, you wouldn't be that person. I'm with you. But there are people that have absolutely called, upset with something.
Mm-hmm.
How many people would it take to kick a broadcaster off the air, though?
Easily, I don't know.
In game,
easily.
And he didn't. Unfortunately, he wasn't. You said it was just bias. He wasn't saying anything like racist or anything like that.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah, just giving biased information. Apparently, was too much. Easily, the most mad a listener was ever at, like emails to my boss, phone calls, said I need to be fired, is when I said Floyd Mayweather. When I made fun of Floyd Mayweather Jr., he was reading an iHeartRadio ad, and it was so bad, and I'm like, he can't read. Like, I mean, this is embarrassing. And like, you're making fun of someone with a disability. And I said, he's worth $200 million. He's choosing not to be able to read. This is a lifestyle
if it's
choice.
a disability, people can't choose.
It's not a disability. He's worth $200 million. He could learn to read. I'm not saying he can't have dyslexia or those things.
You
can get a tutor.
You think that because someone's wealthy that they can just eliminate their disability? That's a whole other conversation to be had, I think.
Eliminate their ability to read? I'm not saying
it's a disability.
I'm not saying it's not a disability.
Oh, but you said it was. Sorry.
No, that person said it was.
Oh,
I'm saying he has just chosen not to read.
Okay.
It is a choice. You got $200-300 million. You can choose to read.
Gotcha.
That's an option for you at that price.
There's plenty of other reasons to be critical of Floyd Mayweather than
Socioeconomical
that.
choices are different.
Yeah.
He's a not
There's
great
plenty
person.
of other things.
He's a pretty terrible dude. That was the other thing. Like, why are you standing up for that guy?
Someone
he
says,
sucks.
Someone says, I've called your boss on you guys multiple times. I bet you have. I bet you guys have. We appreciate the interaction, even if you're complaining, 913-586-7965. That's not the boss's number. That's our text line. We're keeping an eye on that.
Do what you got to do.
That was a hell of a stance from you, by the way. Anyway, we'll get to audio fun bag.
The stance is, again, if you have 300, ignorance is not a disability. Is the text line said. That's right.
Doubling down again.
No, that's what I'm saying. Do we know, does he actually have one or not?
It's never been publicly stated
Okay.
as far as I know.
Then that's a different story.
And again, I think some people have a socioeconomic thing where overcoming some of those things would be a much bigger challenge. He is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Someone says from the 816, they're just saying they don't know which stance they like better. This one or when I said the college football playoff trophy looks like a vagina.
That's worse. No, okay, hold on. You know what? The first thing that came on the screen yesterday at noon was the logo. And you know what I thought of? I hate Cody so much. That's immediately what I thought.
Oh, real quick. We don't need to go down the rabbit hole. Real quick, 5-second update. Any latest on the apartment? Have you heard your neighbors again? Real quick.
As a matter of fact, yes. In the middle of the night, I woke up.
All right. There it is.
What time?
I woke up at 2:15 and didn't go back to sleep until 3 o'clock. And I was just laying there like, really?
Last
Are you doing
night?
this? Yeah.
They were celebrating the Chiefs win, Drew. They were happy. They were in a good mood.
I needed to get some sleep because my sinuses were stuffed up. It was not good.
All right.
Not fun.
They didn't know you were sick, though. You know?
We'll get to...
Yeah, you should have gone up and knocked on the door. Can you please? Do you
I'm
mind?
feeling a little under the weather. Could you keep it to just like hand stuff or something?
Man. We'll get to... okay. We don't need to describe that. I don't think you're allowed to describe that. Anyway, we'll get to
That was pretty vague.
Yeah, everybody knew what you're talking about. We'll get to the audio fun bag in just a second. Don't forget, though, to scan the QR code now through December 15th at any Johnny's Tavern to enter for a chance to win a tailgate prize pack and the grand prize, all thanks to Yingling. When a hosted party at the Johnny's Tavern of your choice, each location is going to have a winner, so don't miss out. Grab your friends, grab a Yingling, and get in on the action only at Johnny's Tavern in partnership with 96.5 The Fan, your home for football, fun, and Yingling. Must be 21 or older to enter. Let's talk about this defense for a second, though. Then we'll do the fun bag, I promise. This defense, once again, is almost confusing to watch because back-to-back games, they only gave up 17 points. You're like, okay, that's going to give me a great chance to win every single week. But then we see the big plays. We see an overthrow by Herbert. Otherwise, it's an 82-yard touchdown. I mean, he was wide open. Brian Cook got all turned around and everything. I still maintain that this team has shown in the last 2 weeks that when they've had to get a stop, going back to like the narrative that we've discussed with Drew and everything about this, like this game counts as getting a stop when they had to get the stop, though. They held Herbert to a field goal instead of allowing them to get a touchdown. Yeah. That's why the Chiefs were able to win on a last-second field goal. If they get a touchdown, the Chiefs have to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. So I felt like this defense did that, but yet we all know they're still giving up massive plays.
I'm having a hard time reconciling it, and I don't know if everyone else feels this way. Gold, do you find yourself watching in the middle of the game frustrated with the way the defense is playing?
Sure, of course.
And then at the end of the game, when it is just 17 points, I'm like,
I'll take that every time.
But how mad am I? It's like I would really compare it to like when your kid cusses, but they use it in the right context. Like they're not even just using it wrong. You're like, okay, impressive. That was like the right part of speech you should have used that in, but like maybe don't say it. Like there is a part of me that like with the defense where I'm like, I don't trust you. I should, but I don't trust you. I'm wondering if last year's defensive performance is making it worse. Because last year, never a doubt. Not for a second. And when you look at what the Chiefs have done, let's just say since Jalen Watson's going down. Let's say Jalen Watson going down was your drop-dead point for the defense in which you no longer believed in them. They were giving up 18.5 points per game when Jalen Watson was there. They're giving up like 20.5 points a game since Jalen Watson is gone. 20.5 during that stretch, by the way, would still make them a top 10 NFL defense. And so, while it's not as good as last year's, to pretend like this defense is bad is wrong. It's just factually wrong. Even with all the mistakes they make and the big plays they give up and all those things, it's just not right. But I'll admit that there's a part of me that just doesn't trust they'll definitively get the job done in the key moments. Versus the last 2 months, this is where Drew's kind of right. The last 2 months, the offense has been doing that. Anytime Gold, it's their turn to get it right, they get it right.
Yeah.
And the defense has been like making it dicier in those games sometimes, right?
No, they definitely made it dicier. I mean, I think it's just because you know that the big play potential is there for the offense, and the big plays have been very limited from the defense. And for this team, even going back to last year, because you and I looked at the turnover numbers, last
They don't
week.
take the ball away.
Last year, still, they weren't doing it a whole lot, even when they were dominant. This year, they're clearly not as good, and so there should be even more of an emphasis to get these turnovers, and it's just not something they've been able to force. But I'll always take, you start going through the last couple games. Buffalo, they gave up 30, including what was on that last fourth and 2 that led it to 30. Carolina, they gave up 27, but if anybody's been watching Carolina recently, look what they just did to Philly. They should have beat Philadelphia.
They're moving the ball
same
pretty
thing.
well.
Like, Carolina's playing a little bit better. And then they gave up 17 to the Vegas. If you're going to be like, okay, it's Vegas. 17 to the Chargers, who are going to be a playoff team. Herbert was in that game. No Ladd McConkey, but we don't need to act like Ladd McConkey, as great as he's been. We don't have to act like this Chargers defense was putting up 30 points a game. They put up 17 last week as well against the Falcons with 4 interceptions, with Ladd McConkey, and with a pick 6 from their defense. So the Chiefs did what you should do against the Chargers offense. Limit them. This is what they are. The Chargers are not a 30-plus point offense unless they're playing Cincinnati.
Who has the worst defense in the league, probably. But you know what it is? Maybe it's sometimes we talk about these things and we go back and forth and we try to make it like, okay, where's the is it the pass rush? Is it the lack of Watson? Is it the safety play lately? The reason why you don't trust them is they never, and I mean never, take the ball away. Every team the Chiefs have to get off the field on 3rd down, on 4th down. They have to make the stop. It is never a turnover that gives them the football. They are 3rd worst in the NFL in takeaways. Every other team in the bottom team, and I mean every other team in the bottom 10 in the NFL in that category, is below 500. All of them. Every single one. Atlanta, Miami. Now some are close.
Yeah.
Cleveland, New England, the Giants, the Jets, the Vegas, and Jacksonville. 2 of those teams are currently projected to pick 1st and 2nd overall in the NFL draft. Is in the 2 teams worse than you are projected to pick like 1st and 4th in the NFL draft. They do not take it away. And I'm assuming like someone's like, Spags doesn't teach that. I'm like, that can't be right. There's just no way any defensive coordinator on the planet doesn't teach takeaways. That can't possibly be
We know it's been
right.
an emphasis because
I just don't think
when
we have ball hawking corners.
When we were up in St. Joe, we had Trent McDuffie on the show. I think we brought this up last week. When he was on the show, he acknowledged that they every offseason, it's normal. You have like your key emphasis, things you're going to emphasize. And a year or so ago is big on, red zone defense, right? Because that was a huge struggle a couple years ago. Like they were really bad defensively in the red zone. So that was an emphasis. And then they did correct it last year. This year, the emphasis was turnovers, and unfortunately, that still hasn't happened. And I do think the Jalen Watson injury has been a huge part of the issue defensively. But right now, what has changed in the last 2 weeks, and we can roll our eyes at the opponent all we want, the last 2 weeks, I do feel like with the Minihue in there, when they've had to have a crucial stop, they've been able to get the pressure. There was a 5-week span when they were dialing up.
They're all just running that out route for 15 yards.
Correct.
Yeah.
And this defense is not as good as last year. We know that. So it's in the 4-quarter game, they're going to give up plays. I think we've realized that that's going to happen. The question is, how confident are you in them getting the stops when needed? And this was a game, to me, they did that. They got the stop when they had to. They held him to a field goal. It's why Mahomes was able to go down the field. We'll talk more about the offense, and one thing that Cody says I just need to give up on, but I don't know if I'm ready to quit it or not when it comes to this football team. I'll explain that coming up in 10 minutes, but let's get to the audio fun bag from the weekend. We do this every Monday here on Cody and Gold. If you guys see anything from the weekend you think was warranting this segment, just send us a tweet at Alex Gold, at Cody Tap. We'll give you some credit as well. We do start in Columbia.
Kansas heads, and here comes the students. Folks, Missouri's done it for just the 5th time in school history. Missouri knocks off the #1 team in the nation. And for the 4th time, it just happens to be the Kansas Jayhawks. Our final in Como, 76-67.
That was the radio call on our sister station, 98.1 KMBZ over the weekend. Kansas loses to the Missouri Tigers for the first time since 2012. If you're watching video today, that's the only reason.
That's why you're in a Missouri Tigers sweatshirt.
The only reason why I'm in a Missouri Tigers sweatshirt. Carrington brought in a Missouri jacket. That was part of our bet. I've been wearing it today. I'll be honest, I am burning up in this.
It's kind of hot in here.
Well, because I have a long sleeve on underneath this as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm paying off the bet today. That's the only reason why I'm being caught dead wearing this, video and photo evidence. Look, Kansas was horrendous in the first half. Absolutely horrendous. I think it was one of the worst first halves we've seen under a Bill Self team. They've lost 2 games in the last week, uncharacteristic. For Missouri, talk about a game that if you're on the bubble, you're set now. This is the one you had to have. Missouri played great in the first half, forcing, 15 turnovers, something like that.
Yep.
And then when it got interesting late, got down to 2.
Made the couple
they
shots
made the big shot
to.
you had to give Missouri credit for that. Dennis Gates needed that win for, I think, their resume when they fast forward to the end of SEC play, when maybe they're on the bubble. Maybe they're not. Look, maybe they won't be. They're ranked
24th now.
They moved up to 24. So it was a big win. But, yes, not happy about that. That was a pathetic effort from the Jayhawks.
I can't imagine. So you could have had to wear that, but then Kansas also won almost, and so you would have been way different. You wouldn't have cared at that point, probably.
Yeah.
One thing stood out to me over the weekend, there continues to be rumors that Bill Belichick is interested in the North Carolina job. Pete Thamel this morning said the talks continue to be ongoing and that he would do a developmental program, as in with the idea of I'll recruit kids and teach them how to be NFL players. Julian Edelman, Tom Brady, and Rob Gronkowski were all on the Fox preseason broadcast sitting on a panel together, and they got asked, can you envision your former head coach coaching college? So, I mean, it's just like 3 former players are like, kids?
Yeah.
College kids? NIL recruiting? No.
As we said last week, he's recruited some young talent recently in his personal life. He's been able to do that. He's got a young girlfriend, so he can recruit. We do know that, Drew. Thank you very much. But also, the other part of the reporting was that perhaps he's asking for his son to be named the coach in waiting as part of the deal at UNC. So is that his driving force here? Is that the motivation, that he's just trying to set his son up with a head coaching job? If that's the case, it actually makes more sense why he would go to college. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't get it. I think this is still maybe his agent kind of playing the field a little bit, trying to make sure everybody in the NFL knows, like, he wants to coach. He's willing to go to college. Basically, there's someone's interested in me. Look at me.
Yeah. I mean, it just all seems like it's going that way, but I just think it's funny that even his former players are like, no.
Next on Audio Fun Bag, we go to the NBA. This, I promise you, is not edited. Mike Brown's the head coach of the Sacramento Kings.
This is not edited.
He tried to, this is not edited. He tried to get something across. And again, this is not edited, I swear. This is what he said over and over and over and over and over again.
You need to be methodical by stacking or playing the right way, possession after possession after possession after possession after possession after possession.
This is not edited.
After possession.
Okay.
After possession.
Keep going.
After possession. After possession.
How does he say it the same way every time?
After possession. After possession. You guys got what I'm saying?
That was real.
By the way, I did edit out another 5 or 6 seconds of him saying it.
So there was more.
Oh, there was more.
Okay.
There were 4 or 5 more after possessions?
After possession.
Yes, there were.
After possession.
So it was edited by you, but he did say
he went
it
on
that
for
way.
about 40 seconds.
40 seconds of after possession?
You're right, though. He did say it the same way, the exact every
kudos.
single time. That was impressive.
Yeah.
I liked one over the weekend, mostly because I like when the occasional loyalty turns into, like, anger. John Summerall, you might recognize him as the head coach of Tulane. Actually, 20 minutes ago, he just got announced. He got a contract extension with Tulane to stay their head coach, right?
Okay.
So, of course, when he gets asked over the weekend, hey, you want that UNC job? I hear it's open. He gets a little spicy. I was like, it's like, well, you want me to leave? You trying to kick me out of here? And it's just like, he just signed an extension. So, I mean, he was a man of his word. Tulane's built a nice program under him. But it's like, it's also like, it's part of the job. You got to ask sometimes if these jobs are open, if you're going to take them. I like it when they get spicy back, when they're like, I'm not getting out of here.
Yeah, last one. This was Timberwolves' assistant. He was talking about what was going on the court, and I think he meant to use a different word.
And then at the defensive end, we're doing a great job. 37%, 30 from the three, but yabba dabba do. They've got 15 offensive second chance points that we have to clean up their second shot opportunities. So in other words, when shot goes up, we got to make sure we get into bodies and not give them a second chance opportunity.
Yabba dabba do.
What the hell did he say yabba dabba do in the middle of that answer?
Yada, yada, yada. Yabba dabba.
I think that's what he meant.
That's the audio fun bag. By the way, Cody's trying to make me even more upset today. Missouri's not in the top 25, despite how much you Missouri tied. Despite how much you Missouri tied.
I apologize. Maybe it was the coach's ball.
I had to double check it. No. They're receiving votes. They are not. They are not. Not according to SI. Now, maybe they will be in a different, but the AP top 25, a couple people texting in said, Cody.
I apologize. I saw it wrong.
Cody's got the Missouri affiliation.
That's what it is.
He's got the
part
Missouri
of that
affiliation.
UMKC, that Missouri school
employed
system.
by the University of Missouri.
You're saying I was leaving K-State.
They're still not even ranked. Let's calm down a little bit. All right? Next.
Are we sure?
That's right. Hey, we'll get to what's trending, and let's talk a little bit more, though, about what Patrick Mahomes was able to do when it mattered most.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
It's winter clearance time over at Volkswagen Lee Summit. Just dropped mine off to get looked at after the little fender bender rant that somebody hit me with. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss my car of the week because it has been my dream ride. I bought back in April. I have been so happy with it. It's been really the dream family car that I've been wanted for a long time. And when I was looking for a new car, I didn't need to go anywhere else besides Volkswagen Lee Summit. You get up to $8,000 off of MSRP for Atlas or Atlas Cross Sports, or up to $5,000 off 2024 Jetta, Taos, or Tiguan's. Tiguan, panoramic roof, got the black wheels. It's just been such a smooth ride across the board, and a reliable car, which is something I had desperately been wanting. So if you're looking for that, or you want the possibility of 0% APR, which I did when I bought the car, sign then drive leases, where you can pay $0 down, then $0 next month. Those are all options for you over at Volkswagen Lee Summit. Go see their great selection. Do not miss out. Go to VWLeeSummit.com.
Thanks, Bob. We're here with Doug the Elf, asking about the hottest holiday gifts of the year. Doug, what's on your list?
Yeah, we're getting Missouri lottery scratchers and draw games. We came all the way from the North Pole.
They don't have lottery tickets there?
Now, Missouri lottery tickets, they created a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year. Woohoo! I just won!
But I thought that was a gift.
Well, yeah, for me.
You heard it here first. Scratchers and draw games from the Missouri Lottery make great gifts for the holidays. Play it forward and play responsibly. Back to you in the studio.
Hey investors, this is JD again with Crossroads Investment Lending. Still wanting to get in that fix and flip game? Don't have the money? Maybe you've always wanted to get yourself a rental property. We can help you get in the door. Call the fix and flip guys at Crossroads Investment Lending, 913-766-2900, or go to kclend.com. That's KCLEND.com. Get started in the fix and flip game. What are you waiting for? That's Crossroads Investment Lending, 913-766-2900 or kclend.com.
Are you going to start the new year dealing with the same old joint pain, losing sleep, not able to take walks or do what you love because your knees or hips hurt? Well, don't do it. Take action now to get the pain relief you deserve for 2025. Call QC Kinetics now and say goodbye to shoulder and back pain. QC Kinetics local medical professionals are waiting for you. Their advanced protocols in regenerative medicine have helped tens of thousands of people, and I'm talking about lasting relief. Imagine a new year without those achy joints, no more pain pills, no more steroid shots. QC Kinetics uses the healing properties of your own body to attack the root cause of your pain, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. This is the future of medicine. So set up your appointment today with QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, 816-412-6299.
We're talking with Dr. David Bach, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. What's the most important thing men should know about prostate cancer?
I would strongly recommend PSA testing. It's a simple blood test. It's inexpensive. And basically every male over 50 should be having this PSA once a year. Prostate cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men.
And why should they go to KCUC?
We not only treat more prostate cancer than anyone else in this part of the country, we also start with cutting-edge diagnostics to offer the most precise diagnoses of prostate cancer using ultrasounds and MRI. We can offer surgical, medical, and radiation types of treatments. And even for men who require additional therapies, we're able to offer all that at a single site.
Get your PSA level tested by the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcuc.com.
Tackle the NFL action on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the National Football League all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of watching the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you can place your bets. All you need to do is use my promo code KFNZ to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel. KFNZ is my promo code. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
It's your last chance to snag Dell Technologies' lowest prices of the year before the holidays. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. This is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line. Plus, 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys when you switch.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O Double G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that jangle.
With 24 monthly bill credits, 4 eligible trade-ins, and 4 new lines with autopay. Well-qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99 credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Thanks to Total Wine, you saved more on all the gifts for the ones you adore. Wine, spirits, beers, all nestled on shelves.
Curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Brought to you by the Kansas City Symphony.
Experience magical holiday moments set to music with the Kansas City Symphony. From Christmas Festival to Frozen in Concert, see the full lineup and get your tickets at kcsymphony.org. There's no wrong way to symphony.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending? Presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one on What's Trending, of course, the Chiefs have won the AFC West for a 9th straight season. They're getting a little bit closer to that Patriot streak in the AFC East. We also heard from Andy Reid earlier today. We found out that DJ Humphries expected to get an MRI on that hamstring. Other than that, we just don't know the severity, and I guess maybe they don't fully either. But I'm with you, Cody, where it doesn't sound all that optimistic that he could play Sunday. We'll see. We'll find out a little bit more as the week goes on. Other than that, no other injury updates on the Chiefs front, although we do know, according to NFL Network, that Hollywood Brown is expected to have an appointment basically with a doctor this week to get final clearance on everything being good to go. And if that happens, then expect perhaps the practice window to be opened up very soon for one Hollywood Brown.
Next up on What's Trending, George Pickens is officially being diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring sprain. That, according to Brooke Pryor over at ESPN. He was a late scratch for the game on Sunday, a surprising one. He was a limited participant for practice on Friday. So that doesn't mean he's not going to be available in 3 weeks against the Chiefs, but they're probably going to have to baby it for a little bit. That injury typically is a 2 to 6 week injury timeline, so probably depends on his comfort level for it or how much that game will matter. If they keep winning without him, probably won't rush George Pickens back.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's their best receiver and one of the most athletic guys in the league. But he does have a hamstring strain, so we'll see what happens with George Pickens over the next few weeks.
We know also over the weekend the college football 12-team playoff field was revealed, even though ESPN took like 25 or 30 minutes to get us to that point in time. They need to take some advice, I think, from CBS, how they do the NCAA tournament bracket. But anyway, the byes, Oregon, the 1 seed, Georgia, the 2.
Your squad,
3,
Boise State.
Arizona State, the 4. Those are the 4 teams getting byes. All the drama all week was about Alabama and SMU. Ultimately, Alabama out, SMU in, even though they lost in their conference title game, but I think it was the right decision and actually pleasantly surprised the committee did that. Some of the opening round matchups we're going to get Texas in Austin hosting Clemson. We're going to get Ohio State in Columbus hosting Tennessee. Penn State obviously as well. And we're going to have, Indiana, Notre Dame in South Bend.
Yeah,
South Bend.
Some good matchups.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be an entertaining thing. First time with the 12-team playoff. I'm interested. Bowl games, by the way. K-State ended up at Rutgers in the Rate Bowl, and MU will take on, they'll go to the Music City Bowl against Iowa.
Huh.
So Carrington versus former colleague Josh.
That's right.
For the Music City Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And the college basketball MU, next up on What's Trending, MU was receiving votes in the AP Top 25 after beating Kansas over the weekend by 9. They fell down to 10 in the AP poll after their loss. Kansas State beat George Washington as well. It was an interesting, look, I like the KU-MU thing because at least it had heat to the rivalry. I felt like it was losing its luster, like young fans didn't even remember these two teams caring about beating each other. MU actually winning one in Columbia helps that. Every student on campus now thinks of this game as bigger. Now every Kansas student will take this thing a little more seriously. Brings a little more heat back to the rivalry.
First time since 2012 that the Tigers won. So, yes, next year, neutral site game at T-Mobile should have even more juice. No doubt about that.
Maybe I'll get to that game. That sounds like a fun
Well,
one.
now, yeah, to your point, now I'm actually more intrigued by it. We know, all jokes aside, like, what makes rivalries fun? Like, both sides have to win.
Yep.
Like, both sides have to win. Otherwise,
at least sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like 1 for 1, but it's got to be like 2 to 1 or 3 to 1.
That's the only way it continues to have the intrigue. And especially when they don't, they're not in the same conference. So you definitely need to have that. Otherwise, it's even tougher. And as you said, for younger fans, like, okay, they don't remember what the 08 season was like. They don't remember the real hate that exists between the two programs in the states, for that matter, historical implications and everything.
I just think it's easy. MU and KU should play once a year in basketball and football every year. Every year.
They might keep renewing it.
It should be your non-con. Every year.
We'll see if they keep renewing it. We know they're going to pick back up football next year as well.
Yeah.
That's what's trending. And I'm glad they're doing I know they're playing a neutral, but the campus sides still make it more fun.
I want both.
Like, I don't want it every year at T-Mobile. I want
Lawrence, Columbia, T-Mobile in rotation.
Yeah, sure.
And then same Lawrence, Columbia, Arrowhead for the other. I just want every year those two teams play each other like they did for the 100 years.
I think that one's
before
in Columbia, right?
Which one?
The
football next year is. Okay. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So I just want I think that's right. I just want a constant rotation. We pretend and this was the thing college football. It's that was before they moved to the SEC. That was one of the 5 oldest rivalries in all of college sport.
That was a big one.
It was so big. It was 100+ years old. All right, you took a couple years off. Cool. Now let's get back to playing every year again.
That might disappoint Alabama fans because Kansas playing Missouri would be a little bit too difficult for, heaven forbid, Alabama would schedule Kansas. Non-conference wise.
It made me so happy to see Alabama out of the college football playoff. Only made better by like accounts like Freezing Cold Takes, looking up all these like Alabama guys being like, well, I guess we'll never have to worry about not being in the playoff anymore. Woo! That's 12. We'll never be out.
Is that your Alabama accent?
They were like, I mean, they were jacked at the idea that they were never going to be left out of the college football playoff ever again now that it was 12 teams. First year kicked out. Oh, delightful.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised the committee was wanting to do that. The only thing I'll say is that this year, maybe if it goes poorly in the committee's eyes and stuff, the seeding is going to be a huge conversation throughout because of how it's currently set up. And it's not much different than like in the NFL, we have wild card teams we all think are better than division winners sometimes. Like it happens. But number one Oregon, the number one overall team in the entire tournament here, or 12-team bracket.
Maybe got the toughest draw.
Might have got the toughest draw. Like that's, that's the only thing. And like a 5-seed Penn State, they have to play an extra game, and I still think that matters. But their path is much different where they could go, if they win their opener, then they would play Boise State. Not in Boise, because that'd be a different story.
Neutral.
On a neutral, that's a big deal. If that game was in Boise, then we're really talking. Then we're talking.
Yeah. But that's the same thing. Like they're not going to get the advantage of. Correct. I wonder if you just make it as simple as the bye teams also get one home site game, but then
I think
you're probably not going to do that
Rose
because of all the money.
Fiesta Bowl. That's the issue you run into
money.
there. Now, maybe in the future, Drew, they expand this thing out in 2032 or whatever. They can redo it again. And they go to 16 or they go to 18. Then maybe what you guys just said, you get the first 2 rounds, no matter what, on campus sites, and then they just narrow it down from there.
I certainly hope they don't go to 16, but I wonder, because I think it's up to Tostitos or whoever's the sponsor of the Fiesta Bowl. I think it would be up to the sponsors to be like, yes, we can go on campus. Like they can ultimately make the decision on if it's okay.
Do that?
Instead of having it in Glendale or wherever.
There's no way they're not going to take it out of a 80,000 seat football stadium to go to play in 45,000 or 50,000. In this case, Boise, Idaho. You know what I mean?
Nobody's reducing it just for the sake. Like Fiesta's not going to sponsor the home site Texas game, and that's just the way it works.
I mean, they'd have more people at the Texas game than I think there's
in that example. Yes.
For the Boise State example, obviously it's less. I do think that they should have the national title game at the same place every year. Just have it at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena.
I told you
I don't know about that. Like I love the Rose Bowl and the setup there, but every year the national no other sport,
the granddaddy of them all.
No other sport has
other than like racing, where the biggest races are at the same tracks.
No other like true team sport has their championship in the same place every single year. I don't like that.
I mean, it's neutral site, so I think that's.
I told you,
but the Super Bowl's not always in Las Vegas, although I'd be fine.
I still think you should just get to choose your opponent. I think.
Oh well.
I just think if you're Oregon, if you're Oregon, you should just get to choose who you get in the next round. Everybody wins, and then you get to choose out of the.
All right,
teams
be honest.
who
Who do we? Let's have fun with this then for a second. I don't think it's ever happening, but I appreciate the hypothetical.
That's actually a really tough question.
Who do you think? And I lost the text line right now. If Oregon got first out of all, only the 12 that are in the field, not like anybody that was in the top 25.
Let's say the bye teams wouldn't even count, right? In that case, they wouldn't get to choose Boise State.
I don't think they would either.
Okay.
I don't think they would.
They wouldn't have picked them. Who do you think right now Oregon would choose? I think Indiana's definitely probably top of mind. After that.
I think Indiana's probably.
I think Notre Dame would be my next choice. That same Indiana-Notre Dame matchup. I'm not sold on Notre Dame as much as others. Yeah, I think I would go that, and then maybe Texas.
I think they would take Indiana first. I think they would maybe take Clemson or Texas next.
I think Clemson's.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. Problem is they got about. You said we can't do that. Otherwise, SMU.
Yeah, but Clemson I think would also be kind of high-ish on the list.
Clemson's offense has been on fire.
And by the way, if we included the bye teams,
of the
are you sure they don't choose Arizona State pretty quick? Everyone thinks the Big 12 is fraudulent.
I think they might pick them.
If
but
you're
I
allowed
wonder
to do
if
the
they
bye
would
teams, it would be Arizona State or Boise State as two people would
I think Boise would be lower on the list.
But
just
Oregon
based
played
off of
Boise State, so they wouldn't pick them.
I don't think they would pick Boise State.
It was a battle, too.
Yeah,
that game
was
was
a 3-point game.
Neutral site?
No, that was in Oregon.
That was at Oregon, and they only won by 3.
Yeah.
That's why I wonder. SMU could do the committee justice by beating Penn State. Can it actually happen? Yeah. I don't know. But Boise State, I think, has a legitimate shot if you think of, hey, if that team shows up the way they did against Oregon, against whoever they play, we could see Boise State in the Final Four.
And because I believe there's a chance that Penn State's OC, Kolonecki, might be getting a head coaching job. So
West Virginia or something?
Yeah, so how does that impact just that system. You know,
You would think that they would let him coach it out at least.
I know, but I don't care what anybody says. You're distracted. Like if you actually are taking the job at some place, you're already thinking about your coaching staff. You're thinking about recruiting while you're trying to game plan. I know they always want to act like it doesn't impact. I just don't know how it couldn't.
It has to.
Kansas went through a lot of coaching changes. Speaking of which,
they want Kotelnicki back.
They promoted both. We don't need to go down this path, but I'm fine with promoting who they did for OC. But I don't like the defensive coordinator promotion. Their old DC just retired.
DK McDonald, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't think there was any Kansas fans being like, "No more Grimes, please. We're begging."
He's with your Badgers. Have fun with him. Thank you.
Wisconsin wants to get back to the run game, so maybe that'll help. I don't know. I mean, geez.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Looking at his last track.
Are you ready to take off that Missouri gear?
Yeah, it's time. It's time. I can get this.
Oh, you're not.
Wow, you're not going to make it the full 5 minutes?
We have 5 more minutes.
Done with it.
God, it looks so weird. That red's so bright compared to this black and gold you've been wearing.
Enough.
Couldn't stand it 5 minutes longer, huh?
Also, it was warm, a little warm.
Yeah, a little toasty in the sweatshirt. So, sorry, man. Sorry your team lost.
Honestly, you guys know this at this point. It's more like the Chiefs losing would have made me in way worse of a mood.
Well, then you'd have no winning ways.
Well, that, but also it's still December. You know, it's a December college basketball game. I would totally be acting the same way if I was Missouri in their spot and hadn't won since 2012.
Is that okay? So if you could lose to any team, let's say in the Final Four, is Missouri still the worst? Versus Duke or North
Missouri
Carolina?
doesn't go to Final Four, so they're good.
I'm just saying they
that.
got to a Final Four. What's the worst team you could lose to? Is it Missouri? Elite Eight? Whatever.
Sure. I
didn't know if you hated Duke or Kentucky or North Carolina.
Oh, they have played them in
some of these big boys.
Yeah, nobody likes Duke. Nobody likes Duke. That's probably the answer if we're being honest. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes that. I mean, it's the same reason they don't like the Chiefs. People ask us all the time, does it? I thought at first I didn't know how anybody or how the Chiefs fan base would.
My answer might be UConn now. Dan Hurley's really hell of a coach, but also just a complete. I mean, just an
he's lost
just
it.
A
He's
jerk.
lost it.
Just a complete jerk.
He's a
hell of a coach.
He's a jerk. He's headbutting his kids and everything like that.
Yeah. He's a great coach, but yes, he maybe kind of got.
I saw that real quick. I saw that KU and UConn are actually talking about doing a home and home. Props to both of them if they can make that happen. But anyway.
That's because Hurley doesn't want to do those Maui Invitationals anymore.
That's right. Yeah, he said no more multi-team
Why?
events because they got embarrassed in Maui and lost 3 games in 3 days. That's why. Anyway.
Okay. I mean, you're the national champion.
I know. But I'm just
back-to-back national champion. You don't have to feel bad because you lost a couple of games in Maui, man. It's cool. You got to say rings to anyone. That goes back to the whole Chiefs thing and where we are in
absolutely
the Chiefs fandom part of it is I could see how if you were a fan of any other NFL team watching that had Drew had to. Watching that
do I need to read
kick,
those tweets again, Drew?
Watching that kick flake off of the upright, go in between there for the win. A week after they eked out a win against the Raiders when they just fumbled the ball for no reason as Aiden O'Connell wasn't ready for a snap.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks before that, they blocked a kick against a different divisional opponent to get that win 16-14. I could see if you were an outsider why the way the Chiefs win would be slowly driving you to absolute insanity. From this end, it's great.
I love it from this angle. I love it. Drew, we finally broke Drew last night. He was tweeting through it.
Yeah,
tweeting through it.
I think that one got the better of
I mean, I'm not going to play that. I don't need to add the violin music again unless you want me to.
No, it's fine.
But I mean, you tweeted out, if I'm basically, you said that's ridiculous. F out of here. They've used all their luck in the last 2 games. Any other team, the kick is a miss. Of course it went in. You said, call me a hater. I don't care. This is getting old and annoying. Right. I can't describe it any other way. You said they need a different kind of luck to be this good in close games. You went on even to say
you think they sold their soul at the crossroads?
The way the Bengals season,
it's getting close.
The way the Bengals season has gone. If that kick hitting the pipe was theirs, as you said, pipe. I don't know why you said pipe. That's a little weird to say out loud. It doesn't go in. What a season! But
post.
Yeah. Anyway, that was you. But you're better today. I feel.
Dong.
Do you feel a little better after a good night's sleep? Well, not a good night's sleep because somebody else.
Your neighbors were having sex again.
I was woke up again. Yeah, I feel a little bit better now.
2:30 on a Sunday night.
Hey, they were at the Chiefs game late. I didn't get home till 12:30.
So this is the thing. I woke up at 2 o'clock.
All right. Happy about the win.
They were walking around. I just don't. They're just walking around. I don't know what they're doing. At 2:30, all of a sudden you start hearing the bed move a little bit. At 3 o'clock, more walking around. Like, what are you doing at 3 in the morning?
I hope there's somehow listeners, and now they're just like, we're just going to mess with this guy from the end of for the end of time now.
I honestly don't know. I mean,
it's hilarious.
At some point, occasionally we're having these conversations. I do kind of
People wanted me to use the violin music. I apologize. It definitely adds to it, doesn't it? Like, it definitely added to it a little bit. Call me a hater. I don't care. This is getting old and annoying. Can't describe it any other way. The way the Bengals season has gone, if that kick hitting the pipe was theirs, it doesn't go in, LOL. What a season. Those were some of Drew's tweets last night.
I was low-key crashing out last night.
You going to watch your squad tonight?
I did for a half second. I was like, do I want to do this? But
turn
I was like,
on the Simpsons broadcast, man. Have a little fun.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I watch Troy, because Troy Aikman always gives us some funny things to listen to. I will say I will be watching the game. Joe Burrow is going to be playing. Jamar Chase is going to be playing.
I'm sure he'll play great.
As long as they're playing, like give me a good offensive performance. I don't care at this point. They're already out of the playoffs officially.
I want your Bengals to win now. How about that? I want them to win so much that they end up with like 7 or 8 wins, so it screws them in their draft order. I hope since now that we know they're done, let them win out. Let them win out and have a terrible draft pick for a team that's the worst scenario. The worst spot you can draft is like 15th or 16th. You're not in the playoffs, but you're not good enough to have a top 10. You're not bad enough to have a top 10 pick. It's the worst spot.
Yeah, I am. I'm in a rock and a hard place because I want them to win, but obviously the worst draft pick doesn't sound appealing. You know, it's a tough spot to be in as a fan.
Text line saying you should just leave a note under the door. You know what? Actually, instead of just saying,
"That's what
hey,
Carrington said."
more being good at sex," what you should do is leave a note on the door and be like, I'm really happy for you both. I'm glad you're having such a great time. Because then you are making it clear.
I don't need to be taught anything. I'm good.
Because then you're making it clear. You hear the sex, but you're not coming at it in an aggressive way. Like, I'm glad you guys are enjoying. Make it really uncomfortable. I'm glad you're enjoying each other's bodies. And then they're like, oh, God, this guy can hear us. I'm so
it sounds like you two are enjoying each other's bodies. You're like,
oh, this guy just made us so uncomfortable. I hate it.
Yeah.
And they'll be mindful.
All right, we're back at it tomorrow, 10 to 2. We'll have our VNFL insider join us, Nate Taylor from The Athletic as well. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. C-Dot's coming up next. I wonder what he's going to be happy about.